Ladies, gents, how we doing? Whoever is on here live with me already, thank you. I appreciate you tremendously. Today we're going to go and talk about narc abuse. Okay. What about narc abuse? And when I say narcs, just to start off, I'm not talking about narcotics, but narcotics does seem to be one of the things that begins to be what people follow up with when they can't. It's what a lot of people follow up with when they can't come to terms that they have a critical role in the abuse that they're facing, okay? Whether it's from another person or from themselves. And I think this is one of the major things to start off with and understanding that you're a chosen one, okay? Like, it's time for you to give back and remember that you are a chosen one. You are an empath. You are here. If you're watching this, if you feel like you're the one being abused, you were sent here, built and resilient to handle the projections, okay, of narcissistic people, the projections of people who need you. And this is one of the realities to kind of like really switch it up for a second, right? Like, excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. Excuse me. Let's not forget that people need you, okay? People need you. No one wants to, in my personal opinion, no one wants to be just an asshole. No one wants to be alone because they keep pushing people away through all these mm, false diagnosis of, avoidant personalities. And reality is like, no, like that person just has some shit that they ignored long enough, some healing, some deep inner work, some shadow work, some loving from parents or just even from themselves that they just have not implemented in their life. And this is one of the things that I want to like remind us all that nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to push people away. Okay, I got to take a deep breath when I said that. Like, I've pushed people away. I have hurt because I was being selfish or even egotistical. Did I honor who I am and what I'm here to do? So, this is major. I would like to. All right, because I wasn't gonna keep breaking my neck up there. Um, so let's get into it. This is an intro. My name is Pernell Bobby. I'm here to be your AstroTherapist. Okay, using astrology to help you master your response to suffering in order to help you master how to enrich your life by knowing yourself. Okay, by understanding your worth. I feel that saying within itself has lost some of its meaning, some of its significance, because it's like, know yourself, know your worth. But this is where leveraging astrology, I think, is the game changer. You know, in ancient times, kings and queens used astrology. Our time, um, these advancements tomorrow. It's donation based. Definitely show up. If you don't catch this one, I'm running these at least twice a month. Um, the new moons and the full moon. So what I would like for people to understand is you don't need to continuously allow yourself to go through emotional trauma. Um, a pain that runs so deep that psychologically you begin to question yourself, your existence, your purpose. And I can tell you, as long as you're questioning your purpose, you're going to find yourself coming across more pain, more pain, because the thing about purpose, and I won't go too far into this because it's not the topic today, is it's not to be chased. Your purpose, the reason you're here to spread more light, your purpose is not to be chased. It's rather something that just needs a moment of your conscious awareness in order to align with what you're here to do and why you're here to do it. Ooh, I got a lot of burping today. Let me take a little sip of tea. Definitely feels you're watching right now. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate you. So let's kind of start diving in. Today we're going to talk about red flags. 3000 is part of my call. Um, to respect that, someone may even watch this from the replay. This is part of my call. And if you are watching this from the replay, um, drop an emoji that you came by later on, or considering yourself like a chosen one. Somebody that's here to do something greater than themselves. Somebody that's here to do something greater than uh, the motivations that you have or the desires you have that are driven by the false ego. I don't want to say your ego, or rather say your false ego, because the ego is critical. It's important. We need to stop trying to bastardize it and um, kick it out as if you probably are still attracted to narcissists because you haven't returned back to yourself in order to love all the parts of you that you may have even considered ugly. Grind back to yourself. It's time to needs healing. It needs love. It needs attention, because it gave all of its attention in our youth and it's drained. All right. So you find yourself attracting narcissistic, egoic, egocentric people who seem to lack sympathy, who seem to lack um, any fucks to give you beyond what you can give them. And you find yourself always in these dynamics, like I found myself of mm, always giving, 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 giving. And even when what I gave wasn't reciprocated, find myself rationalizing why should I give more um, in order to play the role of the hero. And then one day I recognized, like, you know what, like, I don't want to play the hero anymore. I don't want to save people. I actually just prefer to see people from where I am, where they are. And I've learned that that's need to be seen. You don't need to be saved. You're just looking to be seen. You're looking to be heard. And in order to do that, the first step is to start to hear yourself by returning to yourself. The first step is to see yourself by looking at yourself. Okay. Look at what's looking at you, and you'll find yourself. So I have 11 red flags for my empaths, my chosen ones out there, for my star seeds, my light workers, the people that are here. It's 11:11 on the screen right now. And at 11:11, my clock, it actually says give back. Um, I'd like to take a second to focus on a little bit of sound healing. All right. Just to get the vibrations right in the room before I give you these. Because you find yourself going through narc abuse, something special, whoever is in here joining with me, feel free to drop something in the comments. Just let me know who you are, what you would like to receive from this today, and just confirm it. I see Jason Rose. Thank you. I appreciate you. With the white heart, I see you. With that said, let's get into these red flags of narc abuse. I see in the comments here, we got, I used a few drugs, and I think it's for spiritual purposes, but maybe my ego hits because I'm abusing it. Um, you know, recognize that, like, when we don't see these red flags, more likely than not because we didn't want to, but generally we just don't know, which is why I'm gonna list them out for you today. The 11 red flags that I see for people who consider themselves a chosen one, for people who consider themselves supremely empathic, healers that are here to heal. Recognize that these people that have hurt you, they've hurt you because you've allowed that pain. Okay, you've allowed yourself to be hurt. I had to recognize this for myself. I allowed myself to be hurt. And I know it almost seems like, no, what the fuck? Like, this can't be possibly true. But it gets deeper than that. Um, and it's because I was rejecting the possibility that I had some fault to do with, and continuously allow my energetic space to be disturbed. I had to really start owning up to that for myself. This is really where the beginning of the healing started to happen. And it was the beginning of the end. It was also the beginning of the extra rage, the extra chaos, the extra anger, um, from the partners. Because, when you're dealing with a narcissist, the key thing is, when they know, when the anger kicks up, okay? When um, the people that you're dealing with as a chosen one, as an empath, as a light worker, when those people start to, what's up, Quinn? When those people start to become more enraged, okay, you're on the right track. When those people become so irritable, they're no longer willing or desiring to listen to you, or even to more likely listen to themselves and that inner voice that they have that is trying to help them urge of knowing, you know, and accepting where you were and where you're going. Okay. When we can start to accept story, it's my past life, which is it's still my this life. I'm still alive, but it's my past life that needs to be integrated into the present moment in order for me to walk towards my future while still staying at peace with being here in the present moment and crush all of my willpower. Okay, this is when um, the solar plexus chakra starts to get completely out of alignment and we become power hungry and obsessive for more growth. Um, and you'll notice that, like, more likely than not, narcissistic relationships that are impacting the empaths and the chosen ones are more coming from the ones you love, which is not always romantic partners, but your parents, the ones you want to love, but you may feel, I just can't, like, it's just too difficult. Um, these are the people, as I take a deep breath, we fail to accept and realize that we're only continuing to reflect through relationships with the same guy, the same woman, in different bodies. This is the biggest, like, Scorpio season is here, and it's bringing out all the secrets, bringing out all the ways you've betrayed yourself. It's bringing out all the ways I've betrayed myself, which is why, daily I've been actually asking myself and for forgiveness. I've been asking myself uh, for an apology. I've been asking myself for more love by saying I love you, and, like, in the mirror, but taking your advice, Quentin, and I got back on my shit about saying in the mirror, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. In the mirror, just making eye contact the way I am with you right now in the moment. Like, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Um, it's major. And it's why I'm taking so many deep breaths today because, I'm in the process of releasing, I'm in the process of grieving. And I sit here with you now, like, live in action and able to admit that, like, I'm grieving. I'm grieving the old parts of myself that are just not serving me anymore. And I'm doing my best to integrate them as lessons into my being and not treating these lessons as life sentences. And I put this up. I see my mom sent me this. She said, she sent a little meme, and it was like, it was a lesson, not a life sentence. And I'm classically the guy who really is so used to emotional turbulence and trauma that I would invite pain into my life unconsciously, but willingly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would invite people who would disrespect the fuck out of me into my life unconsciously, but willingly. And the thing about unconscious behaviors and pattern is they're only unconscious until they're conscious. So as we step out of the story that we've created and we start to respect and accept that it's a narrative that played its role, a critical role in my life for a very long time, for 10 plus years, it played a critical role in my life that, I didn't deserve something stable. I didn't deserve something where people didn't want to just take from me and I would just continue to give. I had to step out of mine in the story. And it wasn't really until a couple of days ago I came to visit my father. Now I left Colombia and now I'm in Arkansas, and it's like literally in the middle of nowhere. But I can also already see the drastic changes in my voice as we do the inner healing work. Okay, like this is the scariest step that I can possibly ever take. Um, I have not lived with my father since, I don't know, 7 years old or something like that. And I'm now 30. It's 23 years. Okay. 23 years of a big gap in my life that was missing, that a hole that I needed to recognize existed. Okay. A hole that I need to recognize that existed and then fill it back up with love and with awareness of, you know, whatever picture I painted of my father just was not true. And to accept that, you know, me and my mother, me and my father, my viewpoint of both my mother and my father, it just wasn't accurate. The toughest part is to recognize in what ways was I being too egocentric. Okay. As a, what I'm saying? Like all my chosen ones, my empaths out here, like recognize for a second, take a second. We absorb so much emotional energy. We absorb so much trauma and pain from the other people who we're attracting, narcissistic mentalities, whatever. We absorb so much of that do you actually believe, and for those of you in here, I want to have you like type this in a comment, like yes or no. Do you actually believe that you didn't absorb, okay, any of that negative energy, any of those vibrations from these narcissistic relationships, these abusive, psychologically and emotionally abusive dynamics that we've involved ourselves in? Do you genuinely believe? And I want you to just literally type yes or no in the comments. Do you genuinely believe 333 on the screen? That's the number of twin flames and karmic relationships. Do you genuinely believe that you didn't absorb any of that negative shit? And this is where, like, I know for a fact, as I speak it out loud, like I absorbed a tremendous amount of this shit. And this is why moments like this happens in my life where now I'm in Arkansas in the middle of nowhere and it's just quiet. I'm just alone. Like I'm not in a city. I can't go outside and take a walk. Can't go anywhere without driving, not even the convenience store. And I'm not gonna just run into people randomly, but it's brought me back to the mountain. Okay, the mountain is me. I am the mountain in this instance, and the mountain doesn't move, and the mountain stays still. And the mountain allows the sun every day. The sun, which is obviously more powerful than the mountain, it takes 4 revolutions, or the earth spins in 4 revolutions around the sun. But the mountain stays still, and the mountain is at peace. And I needed to come back to stillness, come back to peace, come back to silence in order to start recognizing, where did I not allow room for mistakes in my life? I didn't allow a tremendous amount of room for mistakes. I had to recognize, where did I keep attracting narcissistic personalities or narcissistic personality disorder, call it what you want, but refuse to accept that I had a superiority complex. Okay. And this is where leveraging astrology is helping me to help other people. Reasons why you should definitely, obviously, book readings with me. Um, it's all in the description. This is why it leveraging astrology, I've been able to start to master how I responded to suffering, how I responded to my pain, how I responded to the abuse. Because I could recognize, okay, look, boom, I have some Aquarius in my chart, and Aquarius is naturally probably one of the most masterful uh, disguises of superiority complex until it heals, until it recognizes how to play nice with others on earth, okay? Until it recognizes how to be less about its own creative ventures, its own creative projects, and more about humanity, which is what it grows into. So this is part of me growing into it, but I also had to recognize, like, where did my own personal superiority complex? Like, think about it for a second. Like, I'm coming on here daily speaking to you live, daily on so many channels. Like, I'm looking at pictures I'm in my dad's house, and like, I was 8 in that photo, and I have a fucking microphone in my hand, literally 8. And I quit, and I see your messages. I'm 8 years old in this photo over here, and I'm wearing a white tuxedo with a lavender, vest on the inside. I'm 8 or 7 years old, and I have a microphone in my hand. Okay, so what am I saying right now? What I'm saying in this moment is like my entire life, I have been one to desire the validation or to command a room. Okay, so now the superior complex has always existed in me, and it doesn't need to be this tremendously terrible thing of like, oh my God, like I'm thinking I'm better than everybody else, because it's like, it's one thing when you're just not aware of that and that exists. And it's entirely different of when you become aware and what you do with it then. This is where we talk about character, okay? This is where I need to ask for forgiveness for myself. That when I come across the understanding that like, holy shit, like I kept attracting narcissistic personalities and people who would abuse me because I was addicted to the pain, because the trauma was all that I've ever known. Okay. At least from my viewpoint, I was looking at the world through a lens of pain, but that lens was highly subjective. It was only my own personal feelings. Okay. It was my personal viewpoints, my personal outlook on the world and how I felt the world mistreated me. But because of the subjectivity of everything I just said, what I was unable to recognize is that that was not the objective reality. And the objective reality is that each of us are all 9 billion, whatever you want to call it. We're all living our own individualities at the same time. And objective reality is to be able to take a step away from my feet, take a step away from the hurt and the pain that, at a certain point, I need to take responsibility. I need to recognize that moments were here for me to build my character, to test through trial and error uh, who I am, who I desire to be, and who I'm becoming. And not just that, but to do so not by force, but through alignment. Okay, and this is the key critical thing. Like to align with who you are. Quentin, let me check in with you. I thought your title was narcotic abuse, not narcissistic. Laugh a lot, I'm funny. I was also stoned when I seen it. I absorb energy from anyone or everyone. Yeah, I know. I saw your comment, Quentin, and I was laughing at the top because like I use a few drugs. I like to think it's for spiritual purposes, but maybe my ego hits because I'm abusing it. You know what? Like, um, I'm not gonna sit there and stump with you. Like, I haven't had phases where, and I have them a lot, and it's part of how I have kept myself trapped in a cycle of pain. Pain inflicted on myself by me. Um, and the relationships were just trying to show me like why it was time to get out that cycle. So I can't fuck with you, Quentin. Like I'm being honest. Like I definitely allowed drugs to sit there and be the management. I was self-medicating myself, whether through marijuana or alcohol. To be honest, those are really my two main jams. I haven't really stepped outside of that. Um, I did mushrooms twice and nothing happened. Um, I just became more present, like literally became more aware. But it's like it was no hallucinating. No, I already hallucinate in the waking life. Like if anything, like my upper chakras are the ones that were highly overactive, and my lower chakras were the ones that um, I personally suffered with the most, in a sense where I had to learn how to step back on Earth from a child. And this is again where astrology really helped me understanding that like my childhood was much more like a Pisces, and it's like okay, Pisces is the house of drugs. Pisces is the house of escape. So even if I couldn't escape through the drug of liquor or weed in my youth, I escaped through um, isolation, but like isolation to the point of like a sickening degree. Like the world was so energetically potent that I was unable to handle all of the energies. Like I just wasn't like, I couldn't handle watching people cry. I couldn't handle watching my mother cry when her mother died. I couldn't comprehend what did it mean for my grandma to die. What did it mean for my mom to deal with infidelity, and what did it mean for her to watch her as a child to go through these scorpioning, and she's a Scorpio, vengeful moments, these moments of like, I want revenge, I want justice, I'm going to make you pay. And all these things are things I couldn't understand. So like, you know, in youth, this is where astrology helped me as I got older, because I didn't know about this when I was younger, at least not uh, logically and able to explain it verbally, but spiritually, which Pisces is pretty much a spirit within itself, not even human body. I was able to kind of understand that. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay, great. Um, ISD, try it. What is ISD, or is that LSD? Um, yeah, I'm sure the times will come. I'm sure the times will come when it comes. But like I was saying, this is where I also was able to especially able to really help me understand this. Like, it's kind of what I was telling you before. When it comes to hallucinations, I was born that way, So like I pretty much rejected all the things on earth, like hallucinogens and things like this. Like I have done DMT, and it's like these are my normal waking reality. So it's probably why I've never been called to do any of them, because like I mean, I'm in Aries. It's like I'll try anything once, right? Like I'll try anything more than once if I like it too. Um, and I have. But being in my body, I'm more in the stage of not trying to escape my body, which is really what I've done the majority of my life without drugs. Like I've been able to find ways to do that. I think my drug of choice was pain. If I'm being honest, it was trauma. It was, you know, um, taking in too many emotions of people outside of me as an empath, quote unquote. Uh, and this is why I'm making this video for the chosen ones, to teach you guys the red flags. So maybe I start stepping into these red flags. Um, and I'll drop in number one. So I'm going to give you guys 11 red flags and kind of give us some topics to speak about. And here we go. Let's rock this, baby. 11 red flags. Number one, empaths dealing with chronic anger, rage, and just firepower from ego driven partners. Uh, Recognize that this is one of their ways to control you through guilt or shame. Pain is everyone's drug of choice. You know, again, I think that comment of pain is everyone's drug of choice is, again, once again, it's a subjective comment, right? Like it's only through the lens that I'm looking through or that you're looking through. But the objective reality is like, is pain everyone's drug of choice? Because not everyone's choosing pain. And even the ones that are choosing pain, most of it is unconscious. So it's like, it's not necessarily all of our drug of choice. You feel me? Like, because we're not necessarily choosing the pain. Like, we have to become aware first that pain is our drug of choice before we can say we choose it. Because, again, it's like not everybody's meant to have a spiritual awakening at the same time. Or not everybody's supposed to have a spiritual awakening at all in this lifetime. Some people are literally built to go through life fucking blind, deaf, and mute, to reflect to others that have gone through spiritual awakenings why they don't want to go back. And I had to learn this, time is not linear, right? Like, the world is not linear. Grieving is not linear, right? Spiritual awakenings are not linear. Healing is not linear. Nothing in the fucking world, in a sense, other than man-made, woman-created things, are linear. Things aren't linear. And I think this is what kind of really fucks with our perception, even from the beginning. Because we like to think of the world as linear. We were raised and trained and indoctrinated through school in a linear fashion. Like, if you do this, then you get this. If you hit this number, then you get your promotion. And it's the addiction to a linear way of living that makes us think that we understand anything. Like, even if I'm talking and people think I'm intelligent by whatever the fuck I'm saying, it's like, I don't know shit. What's up, my dude? How you doing, Samir? Samir, I saw your email, by the way. Forgive me, I'm just like really grounding. I just got here a couple days ago, and I intend to respond. I got a bunch of emails that I'm going to respond to after this shit started just going. So I do see you, my man. I read them. I read all of them. I read multiple emails. So we'll get to you and everybody else. I think that my email's in the chat. If anybody wants to just reach out personally or book any readings with me, definitely do it. If you want to just do some channel messages, you're having dreams that you're going through that you just can't channel. This is part of my specialty. Like I said, like I had to learn how to step back into who I was, and like part of who I am is like I live most of my shit from heart chakra up, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, crown. But all of those things are overreactive. And I really sucked and suffered because my ground chakra, my root chakra was never grounded. So it's like, you know, you fucking hallucinating without drugs and I ain't got my root chakra in check. That's a problem. This is when it becomes overreactive and I see too many demons, too many spirits. I see shit that don't even exist. I hear things that aren't there. And I had to learn how to like start to decipher when was my crown chakra, my third eye chakra overreactive because I didn't ground and I didn't have my sacral chakra, the lower 1, 2, 3 levels in check. So anybody that's looking for any channel messages, feel free. Shoot me an email. There's links down below. You can book it as well directly in the description of this live video. And thank you for your subscriptions and everybody joining in. So let's go with number one, right? So number one, 11 red flags. We're talking about it today. Empaths dealing with chronic anger and rage and firepower, ego-driven partners. Recognize that this is the moment that a narcissist will, or an egocentric driven person, they recognize that Recognize that this is when they know They know when you know that they are what they are, and the rage is now going to be used to guilt trip you, to shame you into believing that you're a bad person. And recognize the thing, right? Guilt and shame, there are two things. Guilt is you did a bad thing, okay, and you feel remorse. You feel like, oh man, like I wish I could do better. I want to do better. And it's not to do better with the past. It's not to do better with the people who, is to not go back and start calling everybody up and like, oh my God, I feel so guilty for this. And, please forgive me. All you got to do is forgive yourself and, throw the love out there to them. Like every day, the people that have hurt me, to be honest, every day I say thank you to them. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. Even my last relationship, like, I'm not saying this to her verbally. I know more than likely she's not even ever watching any of this shit. But it's like, it doesn't matter because what matters is you taking care of you, which is probably why you attracted egocentric people in the first place who only think about themselves because it was a reflection that I need to think about myself more. And so as a part of that, like I've been throwing out forgiveness daily. I've been saying, please forgive me to myself in the mirror. I have a mirror right there in the bed. This morning I did it. I did it this morning. And I've been doing it in like a ritualistic mantra type of sense. So with that said, and at the same time, and from that place of strength, not need, from that place of strength, I'm able to then as well, and I'm saying names, I'm calling names out. The people that I think hurt me, recognizing like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I put the pressure on you as if you're the one that hurt me, like hurt myself. Okay. And I wish you the best. That doesn't require me to make a phone call and to start fucking spilling my guts out and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I just recognized this 3 months after we were dating that this was my role. And here's how I kept up the fucking trauma and the drama. Okay. This is how I kept up with you with it. So this ain't the mission. Okay. That's not necessary. All right. I spent a lot of time in that fucking sulking and fucking remorse and shit. And I was confusing that, like, guilt is like, look, even when I had a role in this, like, look, guilt is you did a bad thing. Okay. Bad, bad. What the fuck is bad? You did a bad thing. You did some shit. Okay. you did something. You did something and you weren't that happy about it. You wish you could have did better. That's all that is. You wish you could have did better. So don't let that carry you down the river of fucking, being controlled. Don't let that allow you to be don't confuse that moment you wish you did something better. Don't let that start to control you when those people aren't even in your life anymore. This is what I was saying before. It's like, it was a life lesson. Okay. It wasn't a life sentence. You don't fucking need to punish yourself until the end of days and keep thinking over and over, like I am a fucking thinker. Okay. And recognize, like, if you step out of your body for a second and you step back in after stepping out of your body, you can easily begin to see, oh shit, like I was really in my feelings. Like I was just in my feelings. I was so deep in my feelings. I was unwilling to accept that I made some mistakes here. I was unwilling to accept that, you know what, this isn't the objective reality. This isn't the reality. If everybody in the world was in the same room as me and we all in the same scenario, pretty much the whole left side, other than, you know, maybe my mom, who's gonna just agree with me just because, right? Or fucking, you know what I'm saying? And this is where I had to recognize that was a trait. My mom, even if I was wrong, or even if my sister did something wrong, she's gonna choose that person's side, even if they're wrong. And I had to recognize, how did that play into my life? Okay. And one of the ways was, even when I would know and my partners were wrong, I would just play easy, be at peace, and think, okay, like I'd rather just keep the harmony rather than take a little bit of discord and not go against my discernment, go against my better judgment. This is, yo, I'm telling you, shit's getting real. Like, can somebody confirm, if you guys watching this in the chat real quick, have you ever done that? Have you ever chosen false harmony over, or false peace over your better judgment, your discernment? Okay, like literally, like, just somehow confirm that out in the chat. Have you ever chosen false peace or false harmony in a relationship dynamic, even when your better judgment, your discernment said, no, don't do that, do this? Okay, boom, we just saw 555 on the screen. 5 is a number of big significant change. Okay, the big change makers. So right now, each of you confirming that in the chat, you are a big change maker. This is what I want to tell you. Like, you are making a tremendous change right now. We are in a Scorpio new moon, and Scorpio new moon don't give two fucks. Scorpio new moon do not play. It does not play. It's gonna take all the secrets that you've been keeping from yourself. Okay, recognize this. I had to like check in with this for myself. Okay, like, I had to recognize that, like, you know, I only lie to myself when I come across things that I'm not prepared to address. Oh shit. Okay, I only lie to myself when I'm not prepared to address what has already been there, things that I've buried within me. Okay, this is another thing I had to start seeing. Like, you know, was my last partner lying to me? Were they lying to themselves? And in what ways was I lying to myself? Okay, like nothing is your fault or their fault. Like, what has happened already has happened, but a period. In the past. In the past. It is not designed to soak. And I have a Cancer in Mars, so it's like me living in the past. I'm also a Scorpio rising. Me living in the past, all water signs. Me living in the past has dictated my present and my future for far too long. Okay, me living in what I wish I would have done, what I wish I knew, and then trying to fucking make up for that in silence, not even with the person, just in my mind, has plagued me and fucking drawed my entire soul down to the pits of hell, to just sit there with whoever the fuck the punisher was and just say, just punish me. Like, I did such a shitty thing. Like, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. I didn't know better at the time, but you know, I know better now, and just punish me for life. No, like, stop. You know, it was a lesson. You know, I'm here to literally tell you, stop, yo, stop, 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 stop. So guilt is like, look, you did a bad thing, or you did something that you wish that you did better. Okay, great. Shame is like, you believe, not that it's true, but you believe I'm a bad person, which is very different than like, I did a bad thing. I did a bad thing. It's like, okay, look, a little mistake. The kid fell on the playground. Okay, pick him up. You're done. I'm a bad person is like, no, like I pushed that kid down and I stepped on them when they were trying to get back up. And it's like, no, did you really do that? No. But are you treating yourself with the same consequence for a lifetime, an eternity of pain and punishment? Are you treating yourself like that's what you did? That's where shame lies. And it's like, we got to start making differentiations, because I think a lot of times when we can't accept the guilt, it transforms into shame. So to finish off number one, um, I ain't even really, I forgot to put my little tag on there. I wanted to put timestamps on each of these, so that people can watch them going back. but whatever. So we're gonna do number one. Like, when you're stepping out of narcissistic relationships when the anger and the turbulence in the home or whatever dynamic at work, when they become more and more irritable at an all-time way too fast of a rate, and they get angrier, and the anger is being then used to fearmonger you into doing what brings the anger to a level of homeostasis, let's just say, when the anger steps back down to homeostasis, and they're not angry at you anymore. You got to check, is that because you chose false peace and false harmony against your judgment, because you knew, oh shit, I got to walk on these eggshells, because if I don't, then she or he's going to get angry, and I already know that because I'm an empath, because I was chosen, and shit, like, I'm going to just do, what I'm saying, like, or you ignore the fuck out of them. And if I'm being honest, like, I'm not some clinical doctor to tell you, and nor do I really give too many fucks about clinical doctors, but whatever, that's a side story. Um, I'm not a clinical doctor to tell you that this is the right way, but I can tell you how did I escape or evolve beyond my once then current circumstances. I just got fucking quiet. Okay. I just became the mountain. There's a difference between getting quiet and ignoring somebody. There's a difference between trying to ignore somebody with the silent treatment because you're trying to punish them. Okay. You got to check in. I had to check in with, is my silence built to punish this person, or is my silence built to honor myself and take some space in order for me to recognize within myself what the fuck is going on, and why am I so dissatisfied? Why am I so displeased daily? Why am I just expecting that there's going to be a fight today if I say anything close to my personal truth? You feel me? I see you, Quentin. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a difference. There's a difference. So the key thing is, this is very tough. This first point is very critical. Anger, rage, um, a person with a narcissist mentality, they will try to mask the best they can through anger, through rage, when they recognize that This is the key thing. Like, everything is gravy in the beginning. Everybody gets to these relationships with egocentric people in the beginning. It's like they're giving you what they know you want, and that's how they throw the fishing net out and they reel your ass in. Okay. And they're like, look at me, I'm this sweet little thing. You know what I'm saying? You want to touch this sweet little thing? And you're like, I want to touch that sweet little thing. And then they give you what they know you want, because let's be honest, like, narcissists are not fucking stupid. I think people that be trying to think like they're stupid, quite frankly, they're probably smarter than you, which is why they fooled your ass so long, and they fooled my ass so long for 10 plus years. Different people, the same person in different bodies. They fooled my ass. So, right? Like, how smart was I? So let's not pretend they're dumb, because they're not. And trying to pretend they're dumb is really going to be your own nail in the coffin and your permission to keep allowing abuse. So let's just start there. With that said, as we take another step, we start to recognize that when they see you, the anger, the rage, they will try to control you, and they will intentionally put you in the space of, you need to walk on eggshells, because any little thing you do is going to piss them off, and nobody wants that rage to come back. So you better play nice. You better get the fucking line and recognize the control in that. Okay. That's the control is fucking, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal what they're able to do through fear. It's like, it's like we're consciously choosing to date a dictator. You know what I'm saying? We can sit there from here and judge China for their iron fist rule, but we're choosing on the free land to date that same person. Meanwhile, the citizens under their government, they don't really have too much of a choice. And in our freedom here on these lands, we have a choice, but we still choose the dictator. what the fuck's going on up here? You know what I'm saying? What the hell's happening right here? They're trying to feed themselves with their ego. Absolutely. But a little bit earlier, Samir, we were talking about ego. Just to like, before I move to the next point, we're talking a little bit about ego. And it's like, recognize like your ego is your protector. Okay. Um, when we were children, we could not defend ourselves from emotional, psychological abuse. But our ego, okay, it was able to defend. And this is the part where we have to come back to ourselves as chosen ones. We have to come back to ourselves as the empaths, the star seeds, the fucking healers, the light workers. And by coming back to ourselves, what does that mean? What does it mean to come back to yourself? What it means is to appreciate the ego that took these fucking blows when we were children. Our egos were taking blows. They were taking blows. We were getting hit left and right by shit that we couldn't defend ourselves with. But the one thing that could defend ourselves was this identity that we've created in order to sustain our lives and not kill ourselves. Okay, like this is the reality. Like our ego was the one that stood up for us and just said, look, don't kill yourself. You have so much more to live for. But here's the stipulation. I'm going to take so much damage. I'm now the ego speaking. And the ego speaking, like, I'm going to take so much damage. And even though you were able to create me from the fiction of your imagination exactly the way you needed me to be in order to protect you from whatever traumatic experience that you went through, rape, a miscarriage, fucking physical abuse, emotional and psychological trauma, whatever it is that you had to deal with, being beat the fuck down, whatever it is you had to deal with, the ego through our imagination was created to protect us. Not to be demonized when we turn 30 years old and 27 and we start becoming aware that like, holy shit, everyone out here is telling you, oh, your ego is to fucking blame. No, your ego needs some fucking love and it needs you to come back to pay your debt. Okay. Your ego accumulates karmic debt. You accumulate karmic debt. And your ego is something that needs love, tender care, respect, and attention. And when we can do that, then we start to fucking heal. People are selfish. They do what is right for them instead of thinking what you and the other person is feeling. You know, for the empaths and the chosen ones out here listening, it's like what I had to learn from egocentric people is that they were reflecting my own egocentric nature. I had to really start to accept that like my own egocentric nature was being reflected and my need for people outside me to validate me was very strong. It was very strong. And what am I saying by saying that? What I'm saying is it's like what I had to learn was there is a by learning from those that we view as centric, those that we view as only thinking about themselves, there's something important. And it is that I should think about myself more. All right, let's move on to number two. I have the second one, and I need a I need a little mini snack because your boy is hungry. All right, we got 58 minutes. I'm gonna say um 25 seconds because I need food. I gotta get this little bar or something. All right, here we go. I'm right back. I'm right here. 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 All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I had a low. You on fire. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bang. So, welcome for those of you checking in at 58 minutes and 25 seconds. We're on the second red flag of being the chosen one. I had to get my snack. Being the chosen one, being an empath, dealing with people who are casting their projections onto you that you begin to then internalize. I am a master at internalizing other people's bullshit, if I don't say so myself. And I'm finally saying, Enough. Enough. Plug. I had to pull the plug. Can somebody let me know if my audio is back? I had to unplug it while I got this snap. Thank you. So the second reason is, Chosen Ones. The reason that you check in. Ooh, this one. I used to think this shit was cute. I swear to God, I was so messed up. The second red flag, sarcasm. Okay, I was so fucked up. I had no idea. There's a difference between sarcasm and like intentionally masking your insecurities and manipulating others, especially from the shadows. Okay, creating a false sense of power that really has no more power when we start setting energetic boundaries and we say something like, I'm not going to allow myself to be treated like that. Now, the key thing with this is it's one thing to verbally say it, but again, narcissists, egocentric people, they're intelligent. So they've already faced people with very strong boundaries. And in fact, like, they may have targeted you because your boundaries were weak and they knew they can get over you, but then that gets boring for them eventually. So they start trying people with better and stronger boundaries because then the satisfaction becomes enhanced. So the second thing I got what's going on right now is master of internalizing shit. Yeah, master of internalizing Samir, other people's projections. Okay. So when they'll say some shit like, oh man, my last show they said some shit like she said, what did she say? I don't remember how she said it, so I'm just gonna try to say it. Man, I'm a narcissist, damn it. I know. Bro, we're all narcissists. This is the thing, like, I use these key terms for YouTube because it really enjoys the algorithm. I had to learn how to be strategic. But we're all narcissists. You know what I'm saying? We're all narcissists. I'm driving, text bad. That's okay. So I'm gonna answer your question for you, my dude. Master of internalizing the projections of other people. So one of them was like, have some integrity. That shit. I remember that shit boiled me up. I was like, what the fuck? Have some integrity. And thankfully, I didn't internalize this one. But I could tell you an example I would normally have done. I didn't internalize this one because I was pretty positive. Integrity is like, if there's anything that's untouchable, it's my integrity. Like, I've failed in a lot of different things. I've made a shit ton of mistakes. But the one that I never fucked up with, and the one that everybody always gets me fucked up with and they get left at, is when my integrity is on the line. Because it's like, look, I am who I am. And, I'm not out here doing paid ad dollars. I'm not out here sucking somebody's dick to get up. Just not gonna. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bend over backward for somebody. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to throw ourselves to, like, I could the pain and past used to be. Now it's like, fuck that. We're done with that. Once I became aware of that, like I say that now as part of an example, as a part of a story, but that's a past story, right? And so what I would do is I would internalize that my integrity is shit, shambles, because that person will project that they were lacking integrity. So that person was lacking integrity through their actions, and their words weren't fucking matching. They'll then project it onto me. Okay, so you gotta check when narcissists do this. They'll project their insecurity, recognizing that their integrity was really not in alignment. And they'll tell me instead that my integrity was fucked up. And that's where they get me fucked up and they get left at. Internalizing it would then start to believe that my integrity was crap, that it was worthless, that my integrity that I've built through character development, aka experiences, some that were fucking painful and some that were very enjoyable, internalizing that with then taking on their insecurity that they deep down they know, but they can't admit it. So they have to shoot it out loud and project it onto someone else. And then I would internalize and like, oh, and maybe she was right. I should start having more integrity. Completely ignoring all the other parts of me that have spent all these years in my life. I don't necessarily want to say protecting my name, but not letting somebody walk all over me in a way that made me feel like, holy shit, I'm nothing. The video's having problems. Yeah, I know. I got so many shifts going on. I might need to get a stronger Wi-Fi because I seen it was going in and out for a little bit in the beginning. Let me know if it continues. So when you deal with somebody with excessive sarcasm, I got completely off track with that. I'm sorry. There's a difference between just being funny, playing games, little snarky comments, and then using sarcasm to gaslight the fuck out of somebody. Gaslight somebody to the point where they begin to question themselves. They begin to question their integrity. They begin to question every decision that they make. They begin looking for your validation. Okay, this is how the narcissist gains power over empaths. They will use sarcasm in a way where the empath will think it's cute, they'll think it's a game, they'll think it's pretty at first. And then they start without even recognizing it. Because this is a master of the shadows. They're master of doing shit from the shadow, manipulating from the shadows. That empath or that chosen one will then believe. This is the hard part. They believe that that little snarky, sarcastic joke is true. And this is where it's really, really tough because we do that in order to pick ourselves up, right? When we are being sarcastic in a way that is intentionally looking to belittle and gaslight somebody, we have to check in with when we're doing that because it makes us feel better. It makes us feel more worthy of existence, more worthy of being even in the presence of anybody. So sarcasm is a very clever disguise for insecurities, okay? For a lack of feeling worthy enough to be in the presence of the person we're being sarcastic with. Now there's a difference because sarcasm can be funny. It really can be. But there's a difference when we have to recognize like when is funny not funny anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like when you were kids and you look at that kid that, everything was cool and fun, everybody's laughing, and it's like, no, it's not funny anymore. Like it was funny. But then when we continue it and start beating down that other kid, there's a point where that kid starts to want to cry, or that kid starts to get real sensitive about like it's not funny anymore. Like it was funny, but now you're killing it. Now you're going too far. No, now you have gone too far. And that's what we need to say. Not that you're going too far, because they think, okay, well, I got a little bit more. You're going. You ain't there yet. You're going. No, you've gone too far. Enough. Enough is enough. So there's a point where sarcasm is really a master manipulator. Damn it, I'm sarcastic as fuck. I'm the worst. Even with my kids. Yeah. So what I'll say is like, check in. Like, what is the insecurity that allows you or that prompts you to be so sarcastic with your children? Why do you feel like you're already the parent, right? You are already the parent. So why do you feel that you need to create a false sense of power? Like in a sense, like you're their dad. You know what I mean? Like, and they already see you as almighty. They already see you as their hero. They already see you as powerful. So we don't need to manipulate from the shadows. And it's just time to just check in, ask yourself, because your sarcasm could just be funny, and like it could just be funny, but just check in with, be sensitive enough. Because earlier I saw you said that you energetically absorb a lot of people's energies, and most empaths do at a disbalanced rate, myself included. So, with that being said, just check in with, um, when are you beating the kid down? Your kid, you're a kid, like you're a kid. When are you beating your kid down with sarcasm to the point where they begin to question their worth versus you being sarcastic because it's funny. It can be funny. Like it could be a light way to handle our insecurities as well. Cause like it's not just like it's not a scapegoat. Like it could be a light way to express ourselves when we're not prepared to do it in a more direct manner. All right. So, like in astrology, air signs are masters of this: Libras, Geminis, and Aquarius. And noticing that, like, just because your birthday is not in one of those three seasons doesn't mean that you don't have air energy within you. Like, I'm not an air sign, but I do have a Venus in Gemini, which has its role. It plays its role. So, big eye opener. Best talk, man. They picking it up as well. My kids. Boom. I'm the guy who took it at the way to tears, and I took joy in it. Hey, look, you're able to admit that, and I think that's major. And so I appreciate you for the emotional vulnerability and the quite frankly the brutal honesty of, like, you know what, like you were able to admit that, which already means, like, what we were saying earlier. This is where the difference of guilt and shame exists. Um, you know, the fact that you feel remorse makes you less of a narcissist. Um, and it makes you a person that just did a bad thing. You did a bad thing that you were unaware of. You're not a bad person. You're not a bad father. And I think that's critical. So here we go. So now I'm gonna say 1037. Okay, wait. So we at 111 10. Oh wow, that's a powerful number. Okay, we go. Third red flag. For those of you checking in the chat that didn't catch the beginning, we were shooting the shits, but now we're on third red flag out of 11. My name is Pernell Bobby, asking you to check in, like this, subscribe to this, uh, check in with some of my services. There's a free 15-minute reading tomorrow. I am running a workshop tomorrow. Right now, there's a couple people in there. I would like to see some more, but whatever it is, it is. And we're going to be focusing on forgiveness. We're going to be doing a movement meditation. So come prepared to move your body uh, in a way that's going to get those trapped emotions out. So the third red flag is narcissists believe that idiots deserve to lose. You idiot, you deserve to lose. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, who deserves to lose? I don't know. Or that, you deserve to suffer. You deserve to be in this state that you're in. It's like, damn, like who are you to judge what I or my friend or my mom or whoever deserves to suffer or deserves to lose? Why do they gotta be an idiot? Why do they have to be so strong? So this is one of the third red flags, and you see this happening. Uh, and recognize that, like, when it happens, when they feel like they deserve to suffer and they feel like, oh, you're an idiot and you deserve this thing you got, like, recognize, like, when is it lacking empathy? Okay, when is it lacking a little bit of compassion? That, like, damn, like, do we really have to go that hard on somebody? This is a red flag when you recognize, like, somebody got to go really really hard on him, and they lack the empathy, they lack the compassion, and they just refuse to apologize, especially when they refuse to apologize. um Damn, this light was bright over here. This got a little ring light, and this shit is. I gotta turn this down. It's gonna give me eye damage. Turn it down. Thank you. It's much better. God damn, the thing was bright. Um, Samir, I see you. So, third red flag. When they can't notice when people can't apologize. Notice when you recognize, because you're an empath, because you're a chosen one. You recognize when somebody wants to say sorry, but you also recognize when they just can't say sorry. Okay. Like when they're like, fuck, I fucked up, but they just can't apologize. This is more of a red flag if you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with somebody who's supremely egotistical. So, like Quentin right here, he was able to say, like, damn, like, you know what? I just recognized I did this with my kids. And like he probably felt a little bit like shit about that. And it's like, he's like, damn, like I'm the father. Like, he doesn't want to continue that. He didn't really know that. So it's like, is he a bad person or did he do a bad thing? It was just a moment. Let it be a moment. Guilt being a bad thing, shame being I'm a bad person. So, let it end there, right? And I see you guys in the chat. And so that third one, notice the way I like to think of this is notice how that dickhead treats the waiter or the waitress. Okay. When they look at the waitress or the waiter and they treat them like a dog, and you're sitting there and you're right across from this person, you're like, damn, I thought this was a nice guy. Or damn, I thought this was a nice girl. And they're just shitting on the waiter and the waitress, treating them like less than. When meanwhile, that waiter or waitress, just throw that out there. Just throw that out there. I used to serve, I used to bartend, all that shit. That waiter and that waitress that you're shitting on, they're more likely making more money than you, and they're working half the time. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. You know, but that's just for like shits and giggles. It's also like throwing some love on the serving industry, the bartending industry. Um, you be very wary of when you're out on a date with somebody as a red flag and they treat the waitress like dog shit. Like you gotta watch out for those people because prior to that moment, you were thinking, "Oh my God, it's such a nice girl. Like, why is she treating them like she's the queen and everybody else is a peasant?" That person is more likely than not a fucking narc. They're a narc, and they're more likely going to be abusing you the same way they abuse that waitress or that waiter before you know it, before you blink. You see people abusing waiters and the waitress, recognize that person gonna be abusing you. If you think they're sweet and they kind, that guy, that girl you dating, and everything until that moment, and you try to brush it off like, oh, like like yeah, it wasn't that bad. But inside, you felt that like something in your chest, and you was like, I don't really agree with that. I'm not really down with that. Gotta be very careful. This is a red flag. Quentin, I see you saying you're so unapologetic. Why do you feel so unapologetic, my man? And as you answer that, I see Samir saying, "Is it always necessary to manipulate?" That's a question only I think you can answer, Samir. Like, do you like? Are you saying this from a personal outlook? Are you manipulating people when you ask me that question? And you're trying to figure out why is it so necessary to manipulate? Or are you feeling like you're the victim and you feel that other people keep manipulating you? Like, so which one is that? Because then we can get very clear on how we can move forward. Number 4 out of 11 red flags that we have for you guys and ladies and everything in between. Number 4, narcissists, red flags. Check in, like this, subscribe to this. I have a free 15-minute natal reading. I'm also running a workshop tomorrow. If you don't catch the one tomorrow, I'm running these twice a month. It's donation based. Obviously, I want to see you there, and it's going to be about forgiveness. We're in a Scorpio new moon right now. That energy is bringing up all our secrets, all our darkness, all of the ways we betrayed ourselves. And it's going to be very clear and it's going to be very painful. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to shake up our foundation. It's going to either force us to integrate, transition, and change, or stay in pain. So we have a personal choice. So the fourth one, the red flag, is obviously recognizing narcissists want extreme control. Like they want control. They want to keep you from your family and your friends to maintain the power. This is major. Okay, so my first girl, that was like 16 when this happened. My first girlfriend, she was dating a guy for 4 years while I was dating her for 4 years. I don't know if the she was excuse me. I was dating her for 4 years, but I don't know if she was dating this guy for 4 years. But what I do know is her parents believed that entire time we were dating that I was her friend and that this other guy was her boyfriend. And that shit was mind blowing. Like this entire time, they believed that I was her friend, and they started looking at me as if I was like, I don't know what. When I'm like treating this woman like a queen who was acting like a princess. It's another story. And meanwhile, she's dating this guy who everybody else thought was gay. But he wasn't gay. And he was banging what I thought was my woman at the time. That shit sucked. That shit sucked. That shit was painful. And I had no fucking clue. I had no clue. So what I'm saying is um, in a way, this is one of the first relationships that started my karmic cycle of this dating that I was in with egocentric people. When they keep you away from their family, like she could never come to terms that I was treating her well, and in order to stay and live in denial, what she was able to do was conjure up this ideal that I was this shit guy, which was really a projection that I was internalizing, that I was this shit guy. Like, what was I doing wrong? I kept always trying to figure it out for years. For years. What did I do wrong? How did I fuck this up? Like, I internalized all of that projection. When meanwhile, she was the one cheating in my face and in her parents' face. And what I'm saying is I recognize this going on through multiple relationships that I had after her. When the person you're dating or the person you're involved with or the person who's your boss, whatever, when they keep you away from your own family and your own friends, okay, or even their family and their friends, and they make you out to be somebody different than what you actually are, recognize that this is a means for control. Okay. This is a way for them to maintain the power, and it'll look like this true love. It'll look like this inseparable love, of like, oh my God, like I want to have the world with you. It's this Cinderella princess story. But if we really look at the princess, in the Cinderella story, it's like, she lived a shit life, and a lot of people shit on her too. Um, and they didn't want her to go see Prince Charming, right? Like, think about it. Like in the Cinderella story, they didn't want her to see anybody other than the pits of their own misery. Like, they didn't want Cinderella to see nothing else in existence rather than their misery. So when people keep you away from your loved ones, from your friends, from your family, this is narc abuse, and they will project the fuck out of um, their lack of control of themselves onto you. And we got to be careful of when we internalize. Like, my whole world was out of whack. Like, when all of that shit that illusion came crashing down 4 years later, I was so broken. If I'm being honest, like tremendously, like broken. Like, I thought about it all, like cutting myself, fucking thinking of ways to kill myself, thinking of ways that I was just shit, nothing, like, just the fucking works, like the works. I didn't leave the room for like 7 months. I'm literally not kidding. Like, the one day I came outside, I was like vampire. I was like, what the fuck is that? Is it the sun? And it was really that serious. Um, so we gotta be careful when people want to keep you away from your best friends, from your loved ones, because then all I knew, my entire identity was wrapped up into that true love story, that inseparable love story. And I internalized all of the insecurities that she didn't deal with and that she projected onto me. And we both were young at this point, but this kept happening. All right? I kept dating the same person, relationship after relationship, because karmically, I never fucking figured it out. I was like always walking into the same dynamic. So finally, I'm happy to say that that shit is done. Finally ended that one, and I'm not going back. Let's check in with the comments. Much love. Hell yeah, Quinn. I've been with a colleague who was a stellium in Capricorn. Ooh, workhorse. Who would like to manipulate. Capricorns are all about control. They need control, and they're extremely insecure, and they control more because of their insecurities. So Capricorns are like top tier narcs. I would think, why would you not talk the truth? Still trying to learn about the people who have stellium in Capricorn. So what's key about this is to not don't put every Capricorn in the bowl of a narcissist or of controlling and manipulative, because yes, naturally control is a thing. It's an earth sign. It wants to control reality, physical, tangible reality. But at the same time, Capricorn is a god. Okay. Out of the last four zodiacs, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, these are gods. All right. Like the last half man, half god is Sagittarius, who's the first god outside of like the human existence, if you will. Capricorn is just a god. However, it is a god that walks on earth. So it does have this public image and reputation that it cares about tremendously on earth, to be viewed as a god, flawless, okay, emotionally secure, even though it has tremendous amount of emotional insecurities. Tremendous amount, because the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, aka the most emotional sign. Emotional, not in the sense of watery crybaby type of works, but emotional in the sense that it's psychic and it feels what everyone feels. So it's not just emotional; it's psychic, and it's picking up the emotions psychically of other people. Um, and the opposite of that is Capricorn. So Capricorn has access to this, but its mission is much larger than itself, even though it does want the respect for the thing that it has worked to earn. So when you have a stellium in Capricorn, if you're trying to figure them out, um, there's only one thing that you need to know about a Capricorn stellium. Those motherfuckers care about their public image and their work status, and their reputation more than anything else. So anything that threatens their reputation, it gets obliterated. They will remove that shit from their life. That's what you need to know about Capricorn stelliums. Like if you threaten their reputation, if you threaten their status, especially if you come sideways at their integrity, they will end you. That's what you need to know about a Capricorn stellium. Yeah, motherfuckers are savage. They care about work. They care about climbing the ladder. All right. Here we go. How is it true? Inseparable love. All right. So we're going to move on to the fifth reason, the fifth red flag that you're dealing with a narc. What's up? What's up? What's up? For those of you checking in, it's the fifth red flag. Dealing with a narc. Don't mind me chewing. I'm hungry. I need some food. If you're an empath, you're in here watching this, you feel like you're the chosen one. You know what? You are. And because you are the chosen one, right before I get into this red flag, I just got a super inspiration to tell you that here's what you need to know as a chosen one. You were fucking chosen to help other people. You were chosen to get in alignment with your purpose. You were chosen. I don't know who just walked onto this, but I'm talking to you now. Like something, my spirit just said, click. And I see like 3 more people hopped in. That shit, click. So I need you to pause, because you probably asking me, and I'm telling you right now, like message is coming through. I'm currently going to be your messenger, whoever you consider your God. This is what I need to tell you right now. You were chosen. You were chosen. You cannot start to blame people who you feel are hurting you. You can't play that blame game anymore. It is time to take your personal power by taking personal responsibility. Somewhere along the way, you made a mistake. Okay, somewhere along the line, you made a mistake, you fucked up. It's time to own that mistake, and it's time to recognize that all this shit and this blame game thing you playing with people, it's time to say, enough. It's time to cut that shit. Listen, real quick, I'm about to snap the fuck out of it. I'm about to snap it out of your body. You ready? 3, 2. That's it. That's it. We're gonna snap it out. I want you to really like tune in with the frequency real quick. We're gonna snap this one out, because it's time to remember that you are here for a reason. You are literally here for a purpose. You're watching this video. You came on here, and the channel came through directly to tell me that, if you can accept that you had a role in the bullshit, in the drama, in the pain, if you can accept that you had a role in the bullshit, in the drama, in the pain, if you can accept that you had a role, then The magic of this is for you, the magic, and we're gonna get back to this number 5 on this. We're gonna get back to this number 5. I don't even know if this is for somebody here alive now. Or somebody's gonna come back on the replay that watched number 5. Then you can begin to heal. And then you can begin to accept that the reason you keep lying to yourself about X, Y, or Z is because you're not ready to face that part of you. Okay, I just had to spit that out real quick. All right, so we're gonna go to number 5. Where's my timestamp? Okay, great. Boom. So number 5, narcissists will blame you somehow when you don't agree. Okay, they will blame you somehow when you don't agree. All right, we're gonna go bang 1, 2, 29, 50. I gotta bump that back. So my number 5, my 5th red flag for people watching this, and you're dealing with narc abuse, you're dealing with narcissistic personality disorder, is not only to stop internalizing the things that are being projected on you, but recognize that narcissists will blame you somehow when you don't agree with their desires. Okay, they will find a way to blame you. Blame is so strong. So many people suffer from blame. I think the whole world, I myself, I'm a big one. Like blame, I used to blame everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I still blame people sometimes. And I think the part that I'm most grateful for is that I'm more aware and I can consciously accept that, like, damn, Pernell, why are you having these thoughts? Like literally, like when the blame starts into my head now, I just go, Pernell, I need you to pause. I need you to be still. Whatever you think you're doing right now, Pernell, I need you to just sit there and just watch it. And I want you to listen to these thoughts that you're having. They're not coming out your mouth, but now there's no more distractions. I ain't got no nightclubs here. I'm not drinking as much as I was. I'm not smoking as much as I was. I'm not watching videos just to watch videos. I got a mission, and it's time to get in alignment with my mission because I need to walk into my purpose. And in order to do that, I need you to really fucking listen, boy. I need you to listen. Why are you putting so much pressure on people outside of you and allowing that to dictate and change and manipulate your inner world? Why? Because that inner world is the reflection of your outer world. So why? When am I going to stop looking at this is her fault? This is his fault. Why? And I'm feeling this shit in my soul right now, like, and it just wants to get out. Why? Why? So this is key. Like, narcissists will blame you, but recognize that you're attracting that person because your own inner world is stuck in the victim mentality, is stuck in the blame. And so I'm going to attract these people that are telling me very clearly to my fucking face, no, Pernell, you're the one to blame. No, Pernell, you need to stop fucking blaming. I needed to stop blaming because then I was never able to take personal responsibility. I was never able to see that I had a fault, that I had some bad shit that I did that kept attracting this, that I had some work, some inner work that I wasn't ready to heal. So I would lie to myself. Okay. Um, so narcissists will blame you somehow when you don't agree with their desires. Check in with that. So like whenever that I had to see that. Like when there was a day specifically in my last relationship where I was like, I don't know what I wanted, but my partner at the time didn't have time for it, didn't have space for it. And I remember really being at a rock and a hard place. I was at a rock and a hard place when this happened because I wanted what I wanted. I wanted my desire. And I noticed the voice in my head wanting to blame her for not giving me attention and not giving me validation, and not giving me what I wanted when I wanted it. And I just paused and I was like noticing this thing inside of me. And I was like, who the fuck are you? And it was like, oh, you can see me? And I was like, why are you being so critical of her right now? Like she's doing something that she needs to do for herself. And she gave you a lot of time. She gave you a lot of energy. And the reason that she needs to focus on this now is because she gave you the energy on the opposite side. So I had to, this is a hard day for me. This is the day when I think something within my mind, it really clicked. And this is where my own self-sabotage came out and my own fucking the ways I was betraying myself, like it came out and it was like it was trying to fucking kill something that I actually thought was good at that moment. Like, and what was good at that moment was giving my ex lady the space to honor her process of what she needed to do for work for her, and to recognize that my desire wasn't more or less important than what she needed to do. And I needed to not interrupt that process. Now, I'm obviously still not in a relationship, like I said. So this is where guilt versus shame. You know, I can recognize like these thoughts is like a bad thing, right? But to not go into shame and internalize it to where I'm a bad person for having those thoughts. Those thoughts were those thoughts. Okay. Those thoughts were those thoughts. Somehow they got within me. Somehow I absorbed this through youth or through adulthood. Would it matter? They were there. So to stop thinking for a second of like, where did it come from? What did I? No, no, no. Stop. You don't chase a thought because you'll never catch it. You'll never catch a thought. Let me ask you, has any of you watching this shit have ever caught a thought? Have you ever caught a thought red-handed and been like, gotcha, bitch, go to jail? No, no. I've caught thoughts and I shine a light on them and they disappear. And the more we get resilient at shining a light on those things, the more resilient we are in our external world, in our internal world that reflects a certain stability in our external world that we require, that we desire. All right. So recognize that, like, when the blame game happens, when you find yourself a narcissist blaming you for blah blah blah, my challenge for you is, in what way are you blaming them for your suffering? Okay, because if you're here to, master your response to suffering, which is what I'm here to teach you, which is why you should subscribe. If you're here to master how you respond to suffering, which is character building, and you're looking to do it while leveraging astrology, the key thing I need you to understand in this moment is blame. When you think somebody's blaming you, I want you to pause and observe. And I want you to, with a flashlight, look inside of your own consciousness and be like, hey, who's there? Who's looking at me looking for them? And then you're going to find that little voice and you get to be like, I see you, motherfucker. I had to dead ass say this. And I swear to God, I said this multiple times in my last relationship. I would have these thoughts coming up. And I really wanted this relationship to work. Like, I really wanted to, like, let my shit die. I wanted to let my shit transform. I wanted to stop letting the same story to fucking plague me. I wanted the real love story. If I'm being honest, I wanted that love story. And as a part of that, I was willing to look at the lies in my own mind, in my own heart, the lies that were preventing me from seeing myself, that were preventing me from seeing the parts that was ready to heal. I had to start seeing the lies. And when I started doing that and I made that commitment, that obviously, that at the same time put a lot of pressure on the relationship, because like by me doing that inner work, like, look, that was my inner world getting resolved, which means my external world was either going to resolve with me, grow and evolve and transform with me, or it was going to get left behind and the external reality was going to change. Now, I'm going to say, fortunately, that external reality changed. Fortunately. It doesn't seem more fortunate, right? Like, I'm in Arkansas, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I was in fucking Medellin, Colombia. Before that, I was in fucking Italy. You know what I'm saying? Before that, I was living in Thailand. I was fucking living in Bali. I wasn't visiting these places. I was living here. And now I'm in Arkansas, in the middle of fucking nothing. It's so fucking quiet. And I really am actually enjoying the quiet. But it doesn't, on the external world, look like my world got better. However, it did. And it takes silence, it takes patience, it takes stillness to begin to see that my internal world that was going through that shift, when I had that flashlight and I was looking at that motherfucker like, why are you blaming her? Why do you believe that your desires are more important than what she needs to do for yourself? And I just looked. And the more I kept that flashlight on all these darker parts of myself, and I was like, look, you no longer have fucking space. You're not paying rent. So you need to get the fuck out. Okay? You ain't paying rent. In fact, you're taking my money. You're taking my love. You're taking my abundance. And you're not paying? Get the fuck out. It was like I had to be like, hey, wake the fuck up, P. And so when you find yourself in abusive relationships with narcissists, and they seem to find a way to blame you when you don't meet their desires, when you don't agree with what they desire. What I'm going to ask you now is to ask yourself, you know, in what ways are you blaming them for your suffering, for your circumstances? Because in order to master that and to build your character, it's time to flash that light. All right. And with that said, when you do that, you're going to notice that they play insecure and play sensitive. And this is what I recognize in my last relationship, because then that was the moment when I started doing that internally. Like, I didn't even speak this out loud. Internally, I was like, Pernell, I'm going to handle my shit. I was handling my shit. Externally, that person seemed to become overly sensitive. They seemed to become like their insecurities, like, really started to fucking shake up because my internal world was changing. So my external reality was dissipating. It was either going to evolve and transform with me as I was doing my healing, or it was going to wither and die away. And obviously, I'm here alone. So it died, it withered away. What's up, Glam? And that was, I ain't seeing no grip. I lost my phone. If I'm being honest, I was hanging off of a side of a party bus in Florida a week ago, like literally from the outside. And eventually the bus was driving very, very fast. And so I had to let go. I let go. And I landed on my butt, and I think that's when I dropped it. But whatever. So if you texted me or something like that, I didn't see it. For anybody watching this, if you texted me, I didn't see it. Great, brother. Thank you, Samir. I'm getting better at shining light on my problems that are reoccurring. Absolutely. And notice this, treat this like a Virgo, right? Virgo is about improvements. Virgos are not perfectionists, okay? They can be neurotic, they can be perfectionists, but they're actually more designed for improvements. So pat yourself on the back real quick. And matter of fact, can we give home a clap? I would like to clap for you for the improvements, my man. Glam, what up? How you living? Actually, Glam got a full natal reading with me, and I appreciate you for that. So I want to say thank you. I think it was tremendous. Hopefully it was. It seemed like it was. But let me know if it wasn't. And let's get ready to move to the next one. Let's get ready to move with this. So if you're dealing with narc abuse, like, honestly, like, and you don't want to do anything publicly, definitely just email me. If you're dealing with the emotional trauma, like, I'm here for it, right? I love the squad. What up, tribe? Hey, Glam. All right, so that's the email there, and let's drop number 6. Bang. I'm gonna put a timestamp so that people can know what's happening. 141, 142, 10. Catalyst for rebirth. No, I appreciate you, because that was major. That's one of the most profound things I've ever said, like, for myself. Boom. Here we go. So number 6, red flags for narcissistic abuse. And when these people are projecting onto you their own insecurities and they want you to internalize this shit, here's how you recognize it. Here's how you overcome it. Here's how you take the next couple steps. All right. Number 6 is, for those of you checking in on the timestamp, my name is Pernell Bobby, your AstroTherapist, really kind of helping you to master your response to suffering. Okay. And I want to do that while leveraging astrology. This is me stepping into alignment with me. And I thank you. So number 6, the red flag: with judgment comes criticism. Okay. Be very careful when someone is always judging themselves, like, incessantly. Like, there's a difference. Like, when you judge yourself because you want to improve and, like, you want to get better. Okay. You want to allow the stories to transform. You want to allow the healing to happen. So you're judging certain things because you're probably being a little bit too hard on yourself. There's a difference. And be critiquing yourself. There's a difference. Versus when you're criticizing others, which is more likely you criticizing yourself, which is okay. When you're criticizing others, and recognize narcissists do this to hide through over opinionated gestures, okay, or attitudes. So, like, this is the key. Like, when it seems like they have a very strong value system and they're really opinionated, but it happens incessantly. Like it's like their opinions are being perceived and presented as reality, objective reality, the one that everybody can agree with. Okay. So let's say something like 1 + 1 = 2. That's an objective reality versus, well, I feel 1 + 1 = a life path 11. Okay. That is not objective reality. That is subjective. Like I see uh, 1 + 1 as 11. You feel me? So be careful when somebody has opinions that they take on as reality. Um, Especially when they're over opinionated, when their attitude is like, no, this is just my value, and you're not going to cross my boundaries, you're not going to cross my borders, but they're doing so in a way that really is judgmental as fuck, and they're critiquing the hell out of themselves. But the issue is you begin to question and internalize yourself, and you begin to critique your behaviors. And I gotta be honest, like I'm in the phase of moving in this process for myself from victim to victor. Okay. I want you to literally type that real quick. Victim to victor. For each of you watching this, just type it, confirm it. Victim to victor. Like you're no longer a victim. If you're watching this, like, red flags, only red flags when you don't know it exists. Otherwise it's fucking green. It's a green light. It's like, yup, green light, go that way. Red flag is like when you don't know it's a red flag and you're passing the red flag and it just sucks. You're gonna probably get hurt somewhere along the way. Um, but when you become, that's only when you're unconscious. When you become conscious, it's like, yeah, that red flag actually is a green light to go a different direction. So, when you come across someone who's tremendously opinionated to a point that is just obsessive, it's time to check in with, you know, it's a tough red flag to witness, in my personal opinion. Tough red flag because, somebody with strong values is going to seem opinionated. See you, Samir. Someone with strong values is going to seem opinionated. Welcome. Red flags. We got 11 of them. Right now, we're at number 7 of the red flags for all my empaths and my chosen ones, to really be aware of projections from narcissists, from egocentric people. These are one of the red flags. And if you're dealing potentially with emotional trauma and you find yourself in this cycle of pain, it's time to step out. This is one of the red flags, passive aggression. I have a Cancer in Mars, and like, man, when I tell you, Mars is a planet of the unconscious mind as well, the unconscious actions that we take. And Cancer is the definition of passive aggressive. So they don't move forward until they feel safe. And like, I had to respect that I was attracting people because I was passive aggressive. I was attracting this version of narcissism as well in my life. Um, and the key thing with this is if then statements. So if you don't come to the grocery store with me, then you don't love me. The fuck? That's not true. I do love you. And it shouldn't be determined by if I go to the grocery store or not. My love does not stand on this decision to stay home. All right. If you don't buy my computer from me, then you don't respect me. You don't support my dreams. The fuck? That's not true. I just don't have the money to buy you a MacBook computer for $1,300. That has nothing to do with me not respecting your dreams. I can appreciate your dreams in this way instead. If you don't fuck me, then you're cheating on me. What? Like, actually, I'm looking to transmute my sexual energy because for us, this is going to be very beneficial to bring our goals into reality. So I'm actually just transmuting that energy rather than blowing it out. And I would really appreciate it if you can get on board with that. But I fully understand if you can't. If then statements, so I just try to like play out like 3 different scenarios for a red flag when people try to convince you, to change your mind of something, especially when you feel like they're baiting you. I didn't even recognize it, actually. I didn't recognize it. I was on a YouTube video. I was posting a YouTube video, and somebody was like, I had said something like, yeah, like, my shorty was on her period one of these times and she was baiting me. And somebody in the comments was like, that's not healthy. I think that was Glam. Glam, was that you? It was like, that's not healthy for somebody to be baiting you. And I almost thought it was cute. I thought it was like, oh, she cares about me, or whatever it is. Like, she's thinking about me, whatever it was. I don't know how I convinced myself. And this is when we got to watch out for internalizing certain projections, because that's exactly what I did. And you gotta be careful. Like, narcissists, egocentric people, they're very convincing. They're intelligent as fuck. So let's not try to discredit their wit, their ability to manipulate the fuck out of you if you're watching this, right? So for my empaths, my chosen ones, they're gonna look for your soft spots. They're gonna try to bait you in the ways that they know how. You got to be very careful with this red flag. Passive aggression is a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous sign of getting yourself very soon into an abusive relationship. It's time to move from victim to victor. It's time to move from victim to victor. This is number 8 out of my 11 red flags. Definitely like and subscribe to this video. I'm hungry. For anybody checking in, I want to say thank you. I love you. I appreciate you for your existence. This is why I am doing my best to help you navigate this emotional trauma, to help you master your response to suffering, and to do it leveraging astrology. We're on a new moon in Scorpio, and it's like all the secrets are coming out. All the secrets of the ways you sabotage yourself, the ways I sabotage myself, the ways I've betrayed myself, they're all coming out. And it's time to use this moment as a catalyst for rebirth. That's what I see up in the comments, which is dope. When you feel manipulated, but you can't pinpoint the source, nor will when you do hit it, the narcissist actually admit it, it's time to watch out, empath. You're a chosen one. All right? It's time to watch the fuck out. Because you can feel it. When you just feel it, like, yo, something's not right. You feel it in your bones. You feel it in your gut. You psychically and intuitively know, damn, this ain't right. Something's wrong, but you can't pinpoint it. And then when you speak up about what you feel is possibly the thing triggering you, you feel it's possibly the thing keeping you down and keeping you suppressed and keeping you from exploring the heights of your power. Okay. This is when it's careful. We got to careful to watch with the form of manipulation. Again, like I said, these people are supremely clever. When you can't pinpoint the source, it's a good sign to check in, especially when you hit it and you know it to be true, but that person can't admit it, or they can't apologize, or they can't acknowledge that, wow, what you said is true. And then you get left in this feeling of feeling less than. You probably more likely than not dating a narc. And this doesn't mean that can't change, because this isn't, in my personal opinion, like, this is less about them, I think, and more about you. I think this is a moment where you or I need to check in with, like, why do I settle for these ambiguous dynamics, these ambiguous terms and conditions, okay? Things that are just unclear. Whew, damn, I gotta take a breath on that one, because I just recognized this. I just recognized that for myself. That one just hit me in the fucking gut. I have classically allowed and even attracted ambiguous relationships by not speaking about what I want or need. And that's my fault. So that one hurt. That one hurt. I won't even lie to you. I could feel that one in the pits of my belly. The Scorpio new moon is going to come talk to me on that one. Change, upheavals, disappointments, heartbreaks. That's a mirror. These are the catalysts for rebirth. I'm behind in the chat. I'm at work. Oh, it's okay. I appreciate you for joining in at all. And yeah, that oof, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta take a quick moment, because I had to recognize, damn, I am the guy who has classically taken in ambiguous relationships. and then be wondering why I can't get stability, why I can't walk on stable ground, and always have to be in emotional turbulence. So that one hurt. All right. So thank you. Thanks, Glenn, for clarifying what that means for a catalyst for rebirth. Right now, we're on our 9th out of 11 red flags for narcissist abuse. And when we need to watch out from internalizing the projections of the insecurities people will outside of you want to put on you, recognizing that our internal world is creating our external reality. And as we flash that light on our own demons, on our own blame game, on all the things we talked about, all through the chat today, 1 through 11 red flags. Generally, these red flags are something out of balance and out of alignment with our own internal world, which is creating that external reality. Like I said, when I start flashing that light of my internal world, my relationships always changed. Every time I start saying something's not right and actually did something different about it, my outside world would change. I was so focused on the outside world and like, why are these people leaving me? No, I had to learn, go, thank you. And I caught myself saying this in my last relationship. I was like, I used to get threatened consistently. Like, if you don't, then I'm gonna leave. Oh, please do us a favor. Us. Do me a favor, do you a favor, do us a favor. And this is where my mentality started to change, because before I used to be like, damn, like, what can I do? Damn, what did I do wrong? Damn, how can I do better? Damn, damn. I would take so much personal responsibility. No, fuck that. I was taking external responsibility, okay? Because if I was taking personal responsibility, I would have just said go sooner. But instead, I was internalizing the bullshit, internalizing the projections, and I was taking external responsibility. I need to fucking coin that. External responsibility. I like that word, phrase, call it what you want. External responsibility. So, yeah, this is number 9. Number 9, red flag: the give versus take. I think I completely just missed that timestamp. So I didn't even talk about that at all. All right. 156, 25. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. So you're here for red flags. Right now we're on number 9 red flags out of 11 for when we internalize projections. Okay, I just had a whole epiphany, quote unquote, epiphanies, whatever, about this red flag, the whole give take. And I want to express to you when to be careful of when in the beginning, people that you're dating, people that you love, people who are in your work, okay, people who are your friends, when they know exactly what you want, what you need. And so they give you what you want and what you need. And they do it in a way that makes you feel like, damn, like that was so kind. No one has ever done something so kind for me like that before. And then when that kindness was only actually not kindness, but it was being nice. When you're being nice to somebody, it's like you have an ulterior motive, like something you want from them. Why are you being nice to me? That question could be very beneficial. It also could be too skeptical. Yeah, you got to be careful. Let it be a base by base, case by case, circumstantial type of thing. Um, and then being kind. Being kind is doing something from the goodness of your heart. Being nice is like you want something in return. So, who? Be careful. Be careful. This is a red flag. It's a red flag when somebody being nice and not kind. Red flag. When they give you something in the beginning and it's all harmony, but then on the back end, you just find yourself giving. Because in the beginning, you might have already been hurt, right? Like I know for me, in the beginning, I was already like, I was trying to learn and integrate my lessons. And so I was like, look, I'm not going to give just because. I'm going to give when I feel prepared. I'm not going to try to rush myself just because you gave me something that really is the nicest thing that somebody has ever done for me, right? Like the last relationship, like the lady, she created my website and I was like, oh my God, that was so nice. Like I can't believe it, right? But to check in with when is how did I take that and run with it as if this person was gonna keep that up? And when the reality came and it was like, that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest gift. And then after that, I started recognizing my habit of I'm just giving and giving, and then that person was never satisfied. So I would give more and give more and give more and give more, never satisfied. And this is where my cycle had to come to a close. I had to start checking in with the give versus take, recognizing that when people give something to you in the beginning just to prime you, they priming that ass up. They're like, look, I'm about to hook this motherfucker for the next 6 months. I'm gonna give him something, for the first 3 weeks. I'm gonna give so much that like in the first 3 weeks, I'm gonna get them for 6 months. It's like an investment. They put that investment dollar down, that value in, knowing that the return is gonna be way greater than anything they gave on the back. So recognize that the price is paid heavier on the back end. All my empaths and my chosen ones, like, yo, I talked to somebody in this chat. Yo, I had to talk to somebody at one of my natal readings, and they were like, yo, boom, I created my empire, my legacy, my resources were built up by me, for me. And boom, this lady came in, she gave me all this shit up front, knew exactly what I wanted to hear. And narcissists are really good at this. Narcissists are really, really good at this. People with narcissistic personality disorder are really good at this. They are intuitive as fuck. Like, I think we need to stop trying to treat them like they're fucking stupid, like you were better than. Because if as an empath or a chosen one, you start treating people like you're better than them, then you are them. So we got to pause and we got to accept that. And then we get to move forward and recognize, like, you are the chosen one. And so it's important to take an equal exchange of what you also deserve. And it's also important to take a pause and be real still when you feel disbalanced, when you feel out of alignment, when you start feeling real irritable, but you don't know why. And you start feeling like, what the fuck happened? Like, even hopefully before that, quite frankly, because you created your frame, which I actually believe is one of the solutions I'm giving out for you guys at the end, because I'm going to give you the 11 red flags. I'm going to give you a couple, 4 solutions, 5, 6 solutions. Um, and right now we are currently at 2 hours and 10 seconds. All right, here we go. Red flag number 10. Thank you for checking on my channel. Thank you for checking with these red flags. I got 11 coming, so this is the last 2, and then I'm going to give you a couple solutions. Um, you're looking to master your suffering. You're looking to build your character and do it all by loving astrology. Like, I'm that guy that's going to be doing that for you or helping you as a facilitator of enrichment to get closer to where you're supposed to be, to let go of the past, to let go of the narratives, the stories that have kept you bound and trapped for so long, and move you forward. So number 10 is when you find people who are always on the offense and they over defend themselves. Okay, when people like want to defend themselves and want to act like I'm defending my honor and my integrity, or I'm defending my values, but it happens in a way where they are offensively giving you an onslaught. It's just like, you ever seen that rule? I think they made in basketball or football where, and in middle school, stick with me now. I'm getting somewhere. In middle school or something, they'd be like, if you're beating a team by like 100 points, they were like in the game, because everything beyond that is just like starting to belittle and fucking demoralize that child, as if like, damn, you already killed somebody. How many more times are you gonna shoot them afterwards? And I used to feel like this. I used to really think that, like, look, like, I made a mistake. Like, in this moment, I've recognized that mistake. Oh my God, this one's hurting me right now. I gotta be honest, this one's hurting me. I don't know if it's hurting me or if I'm psychically picking up on you, but I am pretty positive that even if I'm picking up on your energy, watching this during the replay or after, um, it's also my real current life, and I had to just accept that. I'm still gonna have to accept that. After this video, I'm gonna be fucking. I'm feeling it right now. I can tell it. I feel it in my gut, and you know, people who are on the offensive, people who are so offensive that it begins to again hide that insecurity, but recognize that narcissists, egocentric people, they're geniuses at throwing you off their scent. Okay, they're geniuses, but I'm telling you, as an empath, you are the chosen one. Okay, and you can survive. You were built. Your character was designed for this emotional abuse, not to stay in the space of victimhood, but to become a victor through your personal experiences. Okay. So, like, somebody used an example recently and they were like, look, if you start right here and God told you to go right here, the quickest and the shortest way is a lot of times what's taken. But God didn't even want you to go that way. God just told you that's what you're going to get. But God really was like, look, we're going to take you here. I'm going to take you this way. You feel me? I'm going to take you this way. And you're going to be questioning. And I've been questioning. Like sometimes I question in my path. I'll be honest. I question like, God, what the fuck, bro? Or woman? Like, what the fuck? Sometimes I'll be really be like having these moments, like these breakdown moments. I'm like, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? Like really? Like really? Like I'm not out here killing nobody. I'm not out here raping nobody. I'm not out here doing none of these heinous crimes. I'm literally out here doing the best I can every fucking day. Why the fuck did you take me through all of this? And, meanwhile, while I'm sitting here thinking, you told me I could just go right here. And God is sitting here really wanting you to go the long way. Recognize that it's because you're the chosen one. It's because you're an empath. And this is for my Life Path 11s. Glam, I see you in the comment. I'm going to read that in a second. Recognize that without the character building of these egocentric people, these people who are really lacking compassion and empathy for you and aka for themselves, understand that they need you. There's a reason you were chosen. There's a reason that your path is just more difficult. There's a reason that you are forced to actually witness. Okay, you're not supposed to be. There's how to learn as an empath. You're not supposed to be feeling all the emotion of all these people. You're not supposed to save these motherfuckers. No, you're supposed to witness their suffering. You're supposed to witness and come back to terms that you were put here, and you likely put yourself in this position because you've had through past life so much evolution and growth that you are now able to help people in their younger stages of life. Don't ever get it fucking twisted. And I'm talking to myself to not ever get it twisted that I put myself here and in this position as a healer, as a light worker, as somebody bringing something better into the world so that humanity can evolve beyond all of this bullshit. I did that. And in order for me to allow the next level, the next stage of development, growth, transition, and transformation, I need to respect that. I put myself in a position to help these people who I think are hurting me, but they're actually helping me to understand how to stop hurting myself, how to stop being such a masochist in so many different ways, and to let go of the turbulent life that I'm used to and the pain that I'm addicted to. They're helping me. So let's just not get it twisted that this excessive offense, yes, this is a red flag for a narcissist that you're attracting. All right. Be careful when you feel like you always have to defend yourself, because you don't need to defend the truth. Oh, I just saw you in the eyes when I said that. You don't need to defend the truth. And this is how you begin to take your power back when it comes to narcissists. You stop defending yourself because you know you're true. You know you are living in alignment, and God got you. God has you. God has you. It took me so long to be able to start, because I'm telling you, like, there are other phases in my life. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, God? Back off my neck. You know what I'm saying? You ever just feel like what the, like, stop. You know what I'm saying? So be careful. Manipulation is a weak man game. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I think that was one of our red flags earlier in the day. I think like number 7, passive aggression. If you do this, then I'll do this. You know what I'm saying? If you buy me this gift, then I'll give you this pleasure, whatever it is. If you take my son to the soccer game, then we can go on a date and you can pay. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was joking that last piece. Let me see. Control is a narc bottom line. Bang. Bang. Yeah. We talked about that was the first red flag. That control, especially through the means of anger and rage, that's when they know. That's when narcissist understands that you see them. They're like, oh shit, she got a whiff. She knows who I am. She can see me. And then the rage and the anger will increase. When that rage and anger increase, start to fucking, I don't want to do it with you. Start clapping for yourself, because you just figured it out. The moment that it gets more chaotic, more fucking traumatic is the moment that you need to bunker the fuck down, recognize it will get tougher. Okay. This is the critical moment. It will get tougher. It will get tougher. It will get tougher. It will get tougher. But this is when you need to fucking clap for yourself. Step away from their thoughts and from their control. Just step away. Go outside, take a walk, take a drive, go swimming, and just tune out for a second and clap for yourself and pat yourself in the back and call your friends and let them know, look, I'm in a bad situation and I love this person, but it's just getting real crazy. Get the support, because that's when it's going to get real rough, because that is, like she said, the control. That's the bottom line for them. What else did she say? At the end of it all, they are trying to regain the control. Absolutely. That was lost in their childhood. Absolutely. And what she just said is why you're the light worker. It's why you're the empath, you're the healer, because they need healing. It needs to become obvious to us as the chosen ones. It needs to become obvious. It has to become obvious. I don't see too many other ways. It has to become obvious to us that we put ourselves in this path, that these people are trying to regain the control that they lost in their childhood, and they're suffering. Okay, they're suffering in a way where they can't help themselves anymore. And this happens when narcissism starts to hit all-time new highs, like the lack of empathy, care, and compassion. It becomes so little that even when they begin to know that they're addicted to X, Y, and Z patterns, they can't help themselves, and they need our help. We were sent here by God. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are their angels. In these moments, we are the angels. So if we can start to respect our internal reality as something much more important than everything in external existence, that will begin to change our external existence, the blessings and the pain. And she said, they don't know any other way to get it. Deceit, low down tactics for control. And she's right. Glam is right. Glam is another life path 11, and she's right. So Capricorn, they're weak when they want to control people. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it isn't, Samir, because I want to make this clear again. This person that you're dealing with, they're a Capricorn, but Capricorns aren't bad. Capricorns aren't here to personally hurt you. We have to be very aware of when we take things too personal. Right now, like, you work with this person, they're a colleague of yours, and it's like it's a personal story for you. So, like, this Capricorn stellium, we have to check in with one of the red flags that we gave earlier, with like becoming so judgmental that it's critical. And we talked about that like 6 red flags ago, and I see that you're bringing that Cap story back up. And I know because you spoke specifically about someone with a Capricorn stellium, which means that you're more likely than not critically judging this one stellium Capricorn person. So we have to check in, because, like we said, most of these red flags are red flags within ourselves. And as you change that internal reality, I promise you, you're a fucking magician. You're literally a magician. But right now, like, through your words, you're not necessarily practicing pure magic. You're practicing the same judgmental magic that you want out of your life. So bring awareness to it. Bring that flashlight out and ask yourself. I think red flag number 8 was like, when do we need to shine light on the blame game? As I move to number 11. So the 11th red flag, and then after this, I'm going to give you some solutions. I think I have 5 solutions to really like step back into the power, because I don't want to just give you these warnings and then you're like, well, now what do I do? And I'm like, well, fuck you, you suck, all right, here we go. Bang. Glam, I see your comment. I'm gonna get there. Red flag number 11. Red flag number 11. Here we go. We are here at 11. If you're here, you're checking in with the timestamp. I'm here to teach you how to master your suffering. All right. How to literally master your suffering, and do it by leveraging astrology, which is why you'll see in the comments. Check in, comment, hit a brother up, like this, subscribe to this. Check out some of my services tomorrow. I'm running a workshop. It's donation based. It's on forgiveness. And I think a lot of the world needs forgiveness, and recognize that forgiveness is always coming for me, asking myself to please forgive me. I'm asking myself to please forgive me. And from there, I can forgive from a place of strength, uh, rather than to manipulate others from a place of need. Becoming exactly what I hate so much, which is, let's say in this instance, egocentric people who are being so selfish. Being selfish is a strong trait, quite frankly. I think being selfish is a strong trait, but there's a difference when you're doing it from a extremity, like extreme egotistical standpoint. Like there's a difference when we're doing it without compassion. Like we can be selfish and compassionate. That's not a narc. Okay, a narc isn't selfish and compassionate. They're not selfish and empathetic. They're just selfish and selfish. There's a difference. But a selfish person can be empathetic. A selfish person can be compassionate. A selfish person can be lovable and loved and love you. So there's a difference. So number 11, here we go. Empaths, red flag. You don't have any space to be alone. Do you have any space to be alone? That's the question that I want to ask you. Everybody watching this, replay or now, just type in yes or no. Do you create intentional alone time? This was the critical thing that saved me, quote unquote, saved me in my last relationship dynamic where I was really in a place of beginning to suffer. Now, this is the magic. This is how I finally hopped out of my karmic cycle, because I was beginning to suffer, and that allowed me to pause, and it allowed me to take space. As I began to take space, thankfully, this relationship was only like 4 months. The last one, I started recognizing, holy shit, Pernell, what is happening? It was like blink, blink, blink. Illusions, fantasy, cracking up, breaking down, withering away. But if I am classically in my relationship, all prior to this last one, I never had the space. I didn't create the space. I didn't create my frame to live in. And I was living in other people's frame because I didn't know what my frame looked like. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I needed. And I kept attracting ambiguous and unclear ass relationships. So, do you have the space to be alone? If you do not have the space, if you try to take alone time and this person tries to control your freedom, then you are in a red flag scenario. Okay. Recognize that the space helps you to diffuse the illusions. It helps you to check in with the ideals of that narcissist and what that narcissist has as a viewpoint of you. And it begins to break that idealistic lover image. Okay, the fact that they're this perfect lover, they're this great person, and like they're this, like, they're like there for you, and they want to give you the world, and they want to give you this true inseparable love story. And it's like that romanticized version of love is fucking out. It's 2021, baby. And I did my astrology reports, and I'm telling you, the generation after the millennials, they're coming through wrecking shit. That old narrative of love and what the movies have taught us and indoctrinated us into, that shit is done. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is done. You don't gotta keep taking up. Love isn't about being so resilient that you can take it up the ass every fucking day. That's just not comfortable. It's not fucking comfortable. It's not adorable. It ain't cute. So stop taking it up the ass. Or do. No, personal preference. Okay, look, my husband has a stellium in Capricorn. He wants to control me and everything and everyone. The God complex is real, because Capricorns are in the space of God. This is the soul. The last four zodiacs are gods. Okay, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Aquarius has a superiority complex as well. Capricorn definitely has a God complex. And you put a stellium in these things, ooh wee, those motherfuckers are insecure. They require so much external validation. It is insane. And everything might be good as long as you're giving them that external validation, as long as you're sitting there and stroking their ego. But the moment that you decide you want to stroke your shit over their shit is the moment that the chaos begins, and the control, demeanor, and dynamics start wilding out. And all these red flags that we mentioned today will start to rage. So absolutely. What up, Kelsey? I see you, girl. You're not the one I was talking to. Sorry, sometimes there's so many people. You're not the one. You don't live in Croatia. No. I think that's somebody else. Somebody was talking to in my emails. They live in Croatia, and I was talking about visiting Croatia. but that's a side topic. But what up, Kelsey? I do recognize your name. I know I sent you an email recently. And quick reminder for everybody on here: tomorrow morning, I'm running the forgiveness workshop. All right, it's movement based. So today, like I'm sitting here, I'm talking, I'm teaching, I'm educating, and it's like I'm staying still. Don't expect that tomorrow. We're going to be moving the trapped emotions and energies in our body. All right, it's just donation based. I think the link is attached up at the top. Aquarius, Virgo, Moon, Stellium. Ooh, and Cap. I'm over it. Damn, he's in Aquarius, and so he's a Capricorn stellium. He's a Virgo stellium, which are both earth signs, which already speaks control. Okay, earth signs are all about control. The biggest difficulty with earth signs is they're on earth. Okay, water signs are in all worlds spiritual. They're in the spiritual realms, right? They're in the psychic space. They're in all things you can't see. All right. Fire signs are visionaries, so they're in the future. So they're oftentimes they're acting in the present, but they're acting in the present from who they're going to be in their future selves. And air signs are just in their fucking head. So everything they're thinking is just being internalized in their fucking head. But earth signs are on earth, and earth doesn't like to move. Okay, like earth is stuck. It is stationary. You don't move mountains. You don't move mountains. The only time a mountain moves is when something cataclysmic happens and an earthquake shakes the earth. Okay, Uranus is in Taurus, earth. Taurus is like earth. It's agriculture. It's things like mountains as well. The only time is when Uranus in an earth sign creates a shock and a surprise, and then an earthquake pulls up and it crashes the earth together, which then makes this mountain that we begin to envy. But that mountain doesn't move on its own. That shit don't just get there by itself. So hell yeah. They are earth signs are very they're here. They're on earth. And they don't like to change. They don't like to change. Especially Taurus, probably the most. Virgo has a little bit of ability to change because it is mutable. However, that Virgo moon, super critical, super judgmental. I've dated a Virgo moon. It's cool in one sense where they don't always bitch about shit because they're more self-sufficient. But on the other side, it's not cool because they're so fucking critical and so judgmental that it's like, yo, you have to be strong. You have to like learn how not to internalize their criticism. Um, I'm angry because I'm married to a psychopath. No one wants to be baited and switched. Yo, so I think it was you, Glam, when I was talking on here in one of my lives. I think it was an alpha female live video. I was talking about there was a time my woman, I believe she was on her cycle, and I had spoke some shit about like, man, I'm just taking more space away because damn, this shit is like, whoo, it was just too much. And as I did that, I was recognizing the tactics was baiting me. Like she was baiting me. And I think it was you that said that shit ain't healthy. It ain't healthy to just allow yourself to be baited. Um, I remember thinking it was like somewhat cute at the time, but I think that was you. So thank you because you never left my mind since then. Yeah, Aquarius, superior complex, Virgo, stellium, and cap stellium. That shit is control. How do you break the illusion for narcissists? You don't break the new illusion for narcissists. That's already outside of your control. Um, and break their idealistic lover image. Uh, Again, outside of your control. It's focusing on an external reality that the way you break it is by shifting your internal view of yourself. That's the only way you can break their illusion. And when you and I'm gonna be honest, like you don't want to break the illusion of a narcissist because that is when they begin to try to break you. All right. So you don't want to. You don't want to in a sense for clout or for the glow up. Because as soon as you break their illusion, they begin to try to break you. And if you're not strong within yourself, a lot of them fucking succeed. All right. Like, I'll be honest, like, I've been quote unquote allowed myself to be broken by a lot of different narcissistic people. And that shit ain't cool. It hurts. It's painful. It sucks. So I would focus the attention less about how do you break their illusion and more of How do you honor your own existence? How do you honor your own being? Okay, everything that you are. How do you honor your past and integrate it, not be controlled by it? Your past, integrate it into who you are today. How do you do that? And that begins to lead you to your future self. That internal shift within yourself will literally change. Like I said a little bit earlier, I think around like red flag 6 or something, like that will begin to honestly change your external reality. Like externally, that relationship dissipated. It fucking left out of my life because I started using my flashlight on my internal world, and then that external shit shifted. And me trying to hold on to it was like, oh no, like I'm losing, the love of my life. That's how we often like to think about it, but in reality, it was like I'm gaining everything. Like I'm losing all of this stuff. No, I'm making space to receive something so much bigger than I know is coming, but I feel that shit. So um, I understand, Glam. The minute you see them and know who they really are is the minute they try to break and destroy you. Absolutely. I wish somebody told me that shit earlier, which is why I'm on here making this live about the red flags, because I didn't know that up front. And I do now, but I ain't know that up front. And god damn, it's painful. Okay. That's when they start to smear you behind your back. Oh yeah. Man. When I tell you God protected me after this last relationship, because the smear campaign it's out there. I know it. I know it because the people that care for me, they're not telling me about it. They ain't telling me about it. That's when like people that they're not allowing me to run my mind on this, and that. And I'm not gonna sabotage myself by seeking out those past people to see what they are or are not saying. So that smear campaign, that shit is real. She's right. Um, let's give you guys some solutions. Let's give you guys some solutions. So I got these 5, or is it 6? 6 tips. Okay, 6 tips for freedom. All right, let's do this. Let's type that. Bang, bang. Okay, 6 tips. Freedom from the relationship with narcissists or egocentric partners, because it ain't easy. It's not easy, and you're gonna lose something. And it's Scorpio season. Like I said, all the betrayal, all that's just out. It's out. It's ugly. It's getting real ugly outside. All my Scorpios and my Taurus, you're gonna feel this shit. But it's the best for you. By the time this lunar eclipse comes, we're gonna be good. All right, 226. Nope. 227. And boom. So we are now here. We gave you the 11 red flags prior. If you're at this video, you're trying to look at the actual tips at 2 hours and 27 minutes. We out here pumping, baby. 2 hours and 27 minutes. Tip number 1 that I have for freedom from toxic relationship with narcissistic or egocentric partners, all right, to help them to stop the projections and stop internalizing the projections of other people's insecurities onto you, to begin to actually master your suffering in a way that builds your character, and to do so by leveraging astrology. This is why you're here. All right. How do you feel with time away from your partner? Anybody watching this prior or after, I want you to type in the comments, like, how do you feel when you're away from your partner? Let's just start there. This is the first tip. To actually ask yourself, how do I feel without them? Like, how do I feel without them? This damn light is that light path 11 shit, these damn lights. Oh, man. I'm gonna turn that down. The thing is killing me. When you create emotional distance, how do you feel? This is one of the keys. This is one of my key tips. When you check the chat, if you're here, how do you feel when you create emotional distance? Emotional distance is very healthy. Emotional distance allows you to understand your own emotions, because when we understand our own emotions, we begin to reveal the traits and the existence of the narcs in our life. All right. We begin to identify the ways we allow abuse, give permission to others to abuse us. Right. And if that sounds crazy to you, say something to me because we're gonna cover that. We're gonna help you understand why you're giving permission to other people to hurt you. When you create emotional distance, how do you feel? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel like I can't? You oh my god, I can't live without them. Oh my god, I can't live without them. Like, do you feel like that? Because these are all really really big signs. Um, and if you want freedom from these dynamics, it's time to start testing the theory of stepping away intentionally. You know, to take intentional time away for yourself is very, very healthy. And if you find that you cannot, you are, my friend, in a toxic relationship with yourself. And that is your internal world that keeps attracting these partners, all right? Or allows you to maintain the ones that you already have. You know, you find yourself when you take that time away, it's like, oh my God, it's the only time I can breathe. Like, I have to just get away from him. I can't breathe and I'm fucking suffocating. Does that sound healthy? Does that sound like something you want? Um, and I say glam, being indifferent is part of it. Like again, like we were saying, it's exactly when the rage and the anger starts to kind of crank up. However, um, it's what's also most necessary to take that time to be a little bit indifferent. Let's see what Glam says in the chat. Attention, admiration, to be praised and worship is the goal of a narcissist. So take that away from them. Yes, I think that's key. The critical thing is to understand at where is it coming from within ourselves. Okay, are we looking to take this away from them in order to make ourselves feel superior or make ourselves feel like we have our revenge or vengeance, call it what you want? Or is it more empowering, and this is a question, to recognize that the attention and the admiration and being praised and worshiped, all those things that the narcissist wants from an empath or from a chosen one, to acknowledge that and recognize that this is what God is telling me to do for myself, to praise myself, to worship myself, to give attention, more of it to myself, to admire myself. And I think that becomes uh, a lot more empowering rather than to take. Um, no, we're not doing that. But in order to have peace in a space that you cannot escape from physically, that's how the mind has to deal. You know, Glam, I know we had talked once, and so I want to say it like this. Mm, and I know you're Scorpio rising, so I gotta just say it. I gotta say it real. I gotta say it real. Uh, you've created your reality once. You've created your physical environment once that others may have tried to invite themselves into, but ultimately you accepted them in, and that grew to whatever it grew to. With that said, you've created your reality once, and I'm sure you created it more than once, which means that you've built your character up to be more and more resilient to these bullshit ass people that don't belong. You can do it again. You may not want to, it may not be pleasurable. You may likely, like a Scorpio, hold on to everything that you built, but certain things are going to get left behind. Otherwise, you're going to leave yourself behind. Because to physically remain in an environment that you know is being dominated will never give you freedom, will never give you peace. There's only so much ignoring or indifference that we can continue to practice before we become miserable and we become the egocentric person that we're looking to avoid. I'm not talking about me in this instance. I have a lot of women in my life, and a lot of people that have children, and they can't leave abusive situation right now, right away. So you have to deal with it. Yeah, I mean, like, it is what it is. We're always gonna have to. Life is gonna throw whatever it's gonna throw at us. We're always gonna have to deal with it. I think the question is, how are we dealing with it? Like, are we accepting that this situation is abusive and it sucks? That I have kids, I have this, I have that, and we're just accepting that, like, this is it. This is the end. All I can do from here and for the rest of my life is being different, and I'm never gonna get out of this. I think that's one approach. There's another approach to with that indifference, with get real silent, get real still, and make a fucking plan, make a action plan to ascend. I don't even want to say escape, like to ascend and transcend our current environment by looking at what about us is to blame, quote unquote. What about me, myself, is to blame in this scenario? How did I get myself into this? You know, um, and to be able to, like we were saying earlier, shine that flashlight, shine that flashlight, and on myself, and recognize, okay, damn, this is what it is. And as that internally changing my reality, that external thing will probably get more and more chaotic. It might get more and more abusive. In one sense, from a less sensitive side, you could say something like, well, shit, like it might cost you a couple more hits before you can get out. You might have to get hit a couple more times as you take your, as you transcend that circumstance through building that character. But obviously, that still sucks. Um, and I can't speak about it from personal experience. Like, I don't have kids with somebody that I'm being abused physically by. My abuse primarily was psychological and emotional, so I can't say this is worse or better. uh, I understand when you're saying a woman have to be strategic to be in the meantime before you get a plan, before you leave. You have to be indifferent or you're gonna kill a person. Yeah, which is why I try in this moment, um, to still maintain a very honest mentality, a very honest approach to what's being said out of my mouth, but also try to be somewhat sensitive of the situation because it's just not easy. It's just not easy. It's just not easy. It really is not easy because the whole gonna kill a person, like, yeah, that was when I had my last relationship. That was the straw for me when I recognized I'm gonna fucking kill this person, and I was like, Pernell, you lose. Like, that's when I lose, and so um yeah, it's tough because it's all circumstantial. It's all case by case, right? Um, I mean, the physical abuse itself is within itself. There's a similarity that exists in the type of people that attract these relationships, uh, and I can't really necessarily like give any kind of advice on the scenario because it's all case by case, and I don't even really want to give advice as much as speak real with whoever it is and where it is because the thing about this is like, part of me is just like, look, I'm gonna go, and there has to be a point where, you know, I think it always comes. There's always a point where anything is better than what I'm currently dealing with. Like, getting my ass whooped every day is tiring. It's just as tiring as it would be to fucking go outside on the street and be poor with my child. It's just as tiring. And I think that there's one that I really feel like there's one that God supports, and there's one that God doesn't necessarily support. You're going to keep bringing through these painful lessons till you get it. Um, so let me move on to the second tip and see what's happening. 238. And I'm going to get back to the other climates, Glam. So right now, people on my second tip out of this live session, mm, for how to move beyond the red flags, the 11 that we mentioned earlier in this video, to a place of freedom. All right. Freedom from your circumstance, freedom And it is to protect your self-esteem. This is what I put down. Protect your self-esteem to make sure that you don't internalize the negative energy projected onto you with energetic boundaries. For my empaths and for my chosen ones, the empaths who are the chosen ones, who are here sent to heal, sent to help. Um, and how do you protect your self-esteem? That begins to become my own question. Like, how do I protect my self-esteem? Anybody in the comments, feel free, drop that. And Glam, Samir, I'm going to get back to your comments as well. How do you protect your self-esteem? I think you accept that it's a constant building process, and that each one of your traumatic experiences or painful moments in life has built your character. And I think how you protect it is to really rehearse the developments that you've already gone through, the growth that you've already had. Like sometimes I think, we get trapped in trying to think like, how can I get better? How can I get better? Well, how did you already get better? How did you already grow from here? And let that be part of your strength that builds up on your self-esteem, and recognize, look, I've already done this, so I know it's possible. I've already built my life up once, so I know I can do it again. I've already built my life up 4 times, so I know I can do it again. And each time, just I think it's important to witness, just witness. In what ways did negative energy get absorbed into us? That was started off by being projected onto us by some egocentrical person. Um, and learn to set those energetic boundaries. Let me check back in with the comments. Samira, find yourself in deep part of your heart and soul with courage. You can come up with good character. You got yourself into this because they baited you by being fake, fraudulent, and phony. And then they switched up. And you're already in a situation. Now you have to make a plan. Yeah. Don't let people throw their thoughts on you or how they want you to be. I agree. I agree. I think it's actually one of the solutions that I put up. Oh my God, look at that. Divine timing, divine timing, divine timing, divine timing. And this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier about, like, God's going to support what God needs to support. Divine timing. So the third tip I have for you is to make space for your own thoughts and maintain your frame. Okay. You are the chosen one. It's time to take your power back and shine. What do I mean by that is, like, for my timestamp people checking in right now, third tip I have against the red flags. And that third tip is basically saying, you got to know your frame for starters. You got to know your frame. And what I mean when I say frame, I mean like create, understand your needs. Like look back through your relationships, look back through the dynamics of people who have hurt and abused you emotionally, psychologically, or physically. Look back through the time frame and recognize, what are the common denominators with these people? Why have you attracted these people before in different bodies, but the same personality, the same demeanor? What is it about that? And I think when you do that, you begin to create your frame. Your frame is like, here's this box, and like within this box, I've created emotional security and safety and stability, whether that's financial or whether that's emotional, whether that's psychological. And in this frame, this is me, this is who I am. And so as I know myself, I begin to enrich my life and enrich myself through my values that are continuously growing. So I think this is how you protect. I think this is how you this is how you create your frame, and you recognize now, like, okay, this is me for me. So now, because I am fully, I don't want to say fully because it's an ongoing process, but now that I am more emotionally intelligent and I have allowed my frame to continuously evolve, I know who I am. I can enrich myself through these values. And with that, like within my frame, making intentional time and space is something I had to add into my last. This happened in my last relationship taught me this, to add in time for my own thoughts and to not prioritize the thoughts of my partner more than my own thoughts. I would always just praise, like she was saying, like Glenn was saying, I would praise and I would appreciate all the genius of my partner, but I never did that shit for myself. That didn't exist as a part of my frame. And that really didn't allow ease into my relationship dynamics. It didn't allow harmony that I actually require, that I know from my Venus and Gemini in the seventh house that, like, this is a requirement. So make space for your own thoughts. This is my third tip. As you make space for your own thought, you see in a comment, Samir was talking to Glam, and he literally said that right prior, and that's where I'm like, whoa, 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 divine timing, because at 2 hours and 43 minutes of this live, that's the first time that has popped up. Tip number 4 out of 6. Okay, we already gave you the red flags for any of you typing in, checking in on the timestamp. This is tip number 4 out of 6. We gave 11 red flags prior, so now we're working on the solutions. My name is Pernell Bobby, your AstroTherapist, using astrology and leveraging it in order for you to master your response to suffering. How are you responding to suffering? And if you check in this chat, like, each of us in some capacity are suffering. Everyone suffers. Like, this is why religion was even supposedly created in the first place, to find meaning in the suffering. And finding meaning in the suffering is how people made it through the Holocaust, and how people made it through slavery and still continue to make it through slavery in America. And so, uh, to find meaning in the suffering right now, and one of the tips to get through the red flags of narcissists projecting their negative energy and thoughts onto you, is to recognize what's your role. This is probably tip number 1 for me in my own personal life. I had to recognize what was my role. Why did I keep attracting the bullshit? How did my darkness keep attracting the drama? Um, how did my darkness uh, become the source of my own pain? Or how has it always been the source of my own pain? And that is something that was tough. All the chosen ones, if you're chosen, if you're empath, like, you naturally have, because the fact that you're so bright and duality exists, um, you naturally have the deepest, darkest fucking shit to go through. It's why some of it is being tested through trial and error of meeting egocentric people, meeting people who only care about themselves, to create some of the darkness that allows you to shine so bright, to reveal. I want to say, I don't want to say create, because we create a lot of our own fucking bullshit and our pain, but to reveal the depth, okay? How deep you can go in your soul, how deep your soul goes. If you came back as a life path 11, you came back as, an old soul, came back as a healer, a star seed, an empath, a chosen one. You lived many lives, and as a part of all those lives that you live, there's a certain depth, all right, a certain deepness that comes with you, and back into this current life that you're here to help others with. So, as a part of that, recognize, like, what is your darkness that attracts the drama? If you live so many lives and you're really, really old from a karmic sense, recognize that you've done some bad shit. Okay, you've attracted and accumulated some karma, and it's time to pay dues. So when we can be less subjective and really trapped in our own emotions, we can start to see objectively that, like, what the fuck, um, I did this. I attracted this. Don't forget your mission here on Earth. This is what I want to tell you. Don't forget your mission on Earth. Don't get consumed and swallowed by the things that people have done to you, or the things that you've witnessed people do to other people. Don't get consumed in the thoughts that others want you to have, and recognize at what point did you absorb so much negative shit by trying to help other people that you became exactly what you hated the most. And this is super painful. That's painful. It's painful to accept, painful to admit. But if we check in with all the red flags, we got to recognize, like, how many of these red flags exist for us, for me? Okay. How many of these red flags did I create today because I had to look at my shit with that flashlight and recognize I did number 1 through 11. And this is the toughest realization. Like, numbers 1 through 11, all the red flags, I have done each and every one of them. I may have did them at different times, at different levels and capacities, but in every single relationship, I showed up, quite frankly, period, by definition, as a as a narcissist. But recognize that, like, we don't need to let that story continue. We can recognize it and accept the guilt, and accept that, you know what, I did a bad thing, guilt. But to not fall into shame of, because guilt is like, it has remorse, it wants to do better. But shame is like, I'm just a bad person and I can't do better. Don't shame yourself. All right. That's that bullshit. So, what's your role? That's my tip number 4. Check in with your role. I had to check in. What was my role in all the BS that I was attracting? As I move on to tip number 5, feel free, anybody in the comments, say what you need. Um, Let me know how I can impart. All right, we're here at 2 hours, 48 minutes. Thank you all for checking in. If you're on this timestamp, I'm giving you the fifth tip out of six for how to free yourself from the emotional trauma and the abuse. And prior to this, gave you 11 tips for red flags. All right. Red flags in relationships with people projecting their negative energy and their thoughts on you that are then being internalized. And my fifth tip for you right now is to keep an objective support system. Okay. I don't care who that is, your mom, your best friend. Like for me, is my boy. I call him Virgil. His name is not Virgil, but like my life, a lot of it has lived out like Dante, like in Dante's Inferno, and he's like my Virgil. He's like my invisible spirit brother, if you will. That keeps me very objective and allows me to test my own conscious mind against his intelligence that reflects back to me of like what and how and why do I keep attracting the shit that like he helps me navigate all this unseen. And so he's part of my objective support. He's very, very objective. His emotions do not get in the way. He just tells the truth. And this is why he's really important on my spiritual journey. I think on everybody's spiritual awakening on their journey, you need that objective support. You need somebody who is not afflicted by their personal pains. Okay. Um, Somebody that also knows your blind spots. This is my next tip. Like people that know your blind spots. People, you're a chosen one, right? Like as an empath, as a light worker, you're automatically chosen. And with that being said, it's like you got blind spots, like we all got blind spots. Like we can't be perfect. We can't hit home runs on every angle. It's just impossible. And it's not even really desirable because you wouldn't be able to build your character in the ways that you need to. So with that said, is like recognize that narcissists are clever. I said this over and over and over. And you're never going to see the red flags coming uh, if you're too deep in the illusion. You're too deep in the romance, the love, the ideals. If you're too deep, you're just not going to see it coming. And that's where the objective support is really critical. And I thank my friends and my family and the people who really kept me clean and clear, because even then, when I recognized X, Y, and Z, I still wanted to find ways to show up, to show out, to help, to heal, to go beyond my means. Last tip. This is number eight, number six. I'm sorry. Out of tips to free yourself from emotional trauma. Okay, from the abuse and the pain. And I gave you the 11 red flags prior. So this Pernell Bobby, your AstroTherapist, checking in, asking you to like and subscribe. I'm gonna say it again. Hit that subscribe, baby. I put my heart and soul into this one. It's very personal to me as well. I want to help you master your response to what you view as suffering and find meaning in that. And I want to help you do it while leveraging astrology. This is really what my passion has uh, driven me to. So with that said, it's like, you know, your last tip is to ignore the fuck out of them. Okay. I think Glam Diva earlier has said like, what is it? And it's like, yo, look, ignore them. When you see the red flags and you become aware of it, it's time to also prepare. It's time to prepare because that's exactly when the narcissist begins to hit rock bottom, and they will try everything in their power to regain control. And they will play sensitive, then they'll play good cop, bad cop, and it's like things get crazy when it's time to try to regain control. But this is also when they show their true colors. This is when you start seeing the snake in your garden. This is when you start recognizing you betrayed yourself and you didn't live up to the frame that you created for yourself or that you wish you did. Um, this is major because their true colors is gonna really create a larger flame when it's time to regain control. When through anger, fear mongering, through passive aggression, like if then statements, like if you did this, then you would love me. Like if you love me, then you would. It's like all of the shit that we gave you as red flags. This is my last one, and I am happy because at 2 hours and 53 minutes, your boy has been talking, and I am ready to eat. I am ready to drink some water. Scorpio season is here. Tomorrow, I'm running a workshop. It's donation based. I'm running one. I'm running two a month on the new moons and the full moons. I would love to see you all there. I gave you today 11 red flags for when a narcissist is projecting their negative energy and thoughts onto you and how that looks like, and when to recognize the signs earlier, sooner than later, before um, you invest real estate with these people, you invest your soul and your body and your mind with these people. When you create another child with these people, you create projects, things where you start feeling so trapped. I want to help you with these red flags up front. Um, we love you, Bobby. I appreciate you, Santiago. Damn, Santiago, I'm guessing I met you in one of these Spanish countries, but I don't remember which country or who you are by Santiago Tobon. Tobon. Um, so thank you all. I also then gave you the 6 tips how I think you can start to relieve what's going on. Good luck in your workshop. Colombia. I figured it was Colombia. I'm so sorry. There's so many like I just left Colombia like a week ago. I'm now back in the States. I was there for like a year and a half. Santiago. It seems like such a common name. I'm like, I don't know, Santiago. Um, but I tell you what, Santiago, here's what I'll do, bro. I have a 15-minute natal reading. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's free. You can join in. I'm gonna drop it right here in the comments, and that way maybe I can even see who the hell who's Santiago. It's like, where is Santiago? Um, Bang, that's that. And what I also want to do is I'm gonna let you guys know again. I'm running this workshop tomorrow. It's donation based. It's in the morning, and we're gonna ball out. Um, we're gonna do the damn thing. Thank you, Samir, for checking in. Thank you for your guidance, knowledge, and experience and time. Absolutely. Good luck in the workshop, Samir. I'm gonna see you there tomorrow. I'm gonna send you an email. I seen your email prior, so don't worry. I'm gonna send it right after this live. Maybe after I get food. And I want to say thank you for all checking in. I love you. This is such an honor. You can do better. That's what I want to say as an ending. You can do better. You don't need to keep all these dumbass people in your life. You can do better. I believe in you. I thank you for hitting that like button, and deuce, baby. We out of here at 2555.